Welcome back, everybody, to the Words from the Nerds podcast. We have a very exciting episode today. We are going to go through what we watched this week, check in to see how the boys are doing. We'll do a little list update, have a nice little question of the week discussion, and then, of course, we will be talking about the newest film in the MCU, The Fantastic Four: First Steps. As always, like, comment, subscribe. We've got a couple comments to go over from last week. First of all, we got Mr. Memish himself, good friend of the show, saying we are loving this consistency, man. Hashtag best podcast ever. Memish, big shout out.
Love you, Memish.
Here. Oh, we got to have you back on, brother.
Yeah, he's all right.
That's crazy.
He's all right.
We have another comment.
I'm just kidding, Memish. I love you the most out of these two fucking losers. Let's be honest, man.
That's crazy. We have another comment from Pickens is him. And he says, I 100% agree with Ben on the Ironheart review. The writers of this show were so stupid. I think that's in reference to me calling Riri Williams an idiot and that they really misrepresented the character of Tony Stark. Check out last week's episode if you want a full breakdown of that. But somebody agrees with me 100%.
Hey,
his word.
Pushing back on you on that.
New commenter also, and seems to be a George Pickens fan, which I'd be interested to see if he's also a Cowboys fan or if he's a Steelers fan. So I don't know if he's listening. He could drop that in the comments real quick. So
dude, keep your little sports talk out of this podcast. What are we doing?
Oh, hey everybody, Ben's different, guys. Hey everybody.
The other couple of comments come from Mr. Brandon himself. First one saying, I recommend My Adventures with Superman because it was hard enough before this movie to get Aiden to humor me on anything Superman. And since he had just finished One Piece, I figured the anime influence in My Adventures with Superman, sorry, there was an acronym, would help him enjoy it more. So, Aiden, did you decide to hop on any of the trains with the Superman content yet?
No, he didn't.
No, I haven't. I mean, I'll be straight up. I haven't.
Well, you study. You're doing your thing.
Yeah, it's because I tried watching it while I was studying and it didn't work out, but some of these other movies that I watched worked out while I was studying. So it's just, I want to pay more attention to it.
Yeah. And then the last comment also from Brandon had to do with One Piece. So we're kind of going to skip over it. Aiden already replied to it anyways.
Crazy work.
The comment is literally,
yeah, go ahead.
Aiden, you watched one of the best episodes of television in One Piece 1136 and didn't talk about it.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Still not gonna watch it. Like, I don't know.
No. I mean, it's not for y'all to watch. I mean, y'all just can't comprehend that. So we're moving past it. Yeah, and that's why I didn't bring it up because y'all aren't valuable enough for me to bring it up to you. Like, bro, we're watching Lost and
this guy liked Venom 3. He liked Venom 3. He liked Venom 3. He liked Venom 3.
Break, bro. I'm watching Prison
Break.
Yeah,
Buddy's talking to me. He liked Venom 3.
Great show to watch, bro. Like, oh yeah, bro. There's
dude, Prison Break is
that.
What? That's like prestige TV back in the day. All right, calm down.
Oh god,
dude. This is why we don't.
That wasn't correct.
This is why we don't bring up One Piece because
this is why. Yeah,
it turns into a crapshoot. What do we could have just skipped over it instead of you yelling at us. That's all it is.
Because who started the initial? I saw an eye roll up here. Sorry, I'm pointing the wrong way. I saw an eye roll up here. Let's just skip it. Let's just skip that.
Yeah, because I don't want to hear this crap anymore.
Actually, I think what I said, I was like, yo, that One Piece hate is crazy. I think that's what I said. I didn't roll my eyes. So if anything, I was going to bad, but now.
Sure, buddy.
Now I take that shit bad, buddy.
As I said last week, anybody listening, yeah, we talk about great movies and TV shows, except when it's something that they are just not biased to. Oh, except when it just itches them a wrong way and it just doesn't scratch that itch. It's 2 inches over from the itch they're trying to scratch and they just put the blinders on. Yeah. That's the podcast, guys. All right. Anybody listening?
Hey, but Brandon agrees that Superman is easily digestible. So it looks like that is what you need, buddy. Why don't you hop on that, huh? Hop on that easily digestible slop.
And a hush falls over the crowd.
As always, we say it every single week. If you want to leave a comment, we'll have a little discussion about it in the next episode. Also, if you hear from any of the short form content, welcome in. We would love to have you stick around for these longer podcast discussions. With that being said, we're going to get into how we are all doing. I'm going to start because I had a very big week. This is probably the most that I've consumed content wise in a long time. I'm doing good. I had a fun weekend last weekend going to my cousin's wedding, which is part of the reason I watched so many things, because I was in the back of the car for 12 hours over the course of a couple of days. So getting into some of the things that I watched Fan Four Stick for the first time ever. Had just avoided it forever, and it's as bad as people say. The only reason I watched it is because I had seen the other two Fantastic Four movies, and I felt like, you know what? We're about to get the new one. I'll bite the bullet. I'll watch it one time. And yeah, it's bad.
Jesus.
I also did finish season 2 of The Bear during the drive. So Charlie, you doubted me, but I did in fact finish season 2.
Well, no, actually, I think, yeah, I think where I doubted episodes. No, because you left off.
7, 8,
you
9,
left
10.
off on fishes.
Yeah, okay, 4 episodes.
That's 4 episodes.
Season 2.
Yeah,
so 2 hours.
But
2 hours
I doubted that you were gonna make it to our bear discussion, and I was correct about that. So
okay. I remember when I said I had the trip, you were like, oh, you could finish season 2 of The Bear on that ride. And I said, yeah, I might. And you were just like,
yeah, he did.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
I don't believe he is. Because he said, I could tell just by how he answered that. Ben, real quick, just so that we don't get like super long-winded, can you just tell me what you thought about the Forks episode?
Oh, I love the Forks episode. Richie might be the best character of the show. Just saying it.
Yes.
Might be.
Spin facts.
Dude, okay,
literally
the only other thing that I want to say, I'm halfway through season 3. I don't really care to talk about anything with that so far. But literally the final episode of season 2, the moment that stood out to me the most, and you guys know I'm an aura guy, right? Like I'm a hype moments and aura guy. Okay, we've been over this. The moment that stands out to me the most, where I had chills, was when she goes, Richie, drive. I was like, oh my gosh, dude. That literally, I just straight chills. That was so good. So yeah, Richie might be the best character in the show. That episode was a great episode.
We're big fans of Richie over here. I mean, that's our guy. Yeah. Like cousin is the best.
Yeah.
What about the refrigerator stuff? What do you think about that?
Well, obviously this is something that I brought up when we talked about it, which was that Carmy seems like the kind of guy who would sacrifice other things, including his relationship, his friendships, to get what he wants. And so that kind of raw moment of realization and honesty that he had, because as crappy as you can say that he was for saying those things, you know that came from a genuine place of conflict in his heart, because he goes back and forth about the things that he cares about and where he puts his time and effort and passions. So you know that comes from a truthful place. And I kind of got the vibe that they were setting that up, a few minutes before it happened. So I haven't really seen like the full effect of that, I would say. Obviously, I think like we're going to get more of that, and we've seen kind of some of his regret and still dealing with that conflict of like, trying to run a brand new restaurant while also feeling this little bit of guilt and whatnot. But the scenes themselves were really good, and just that subtlety of like him being away and everything being fine. And like, I almost thought they were going to play into that more, that he would like sort of release some of his feeling of needing to be there and control everything and step into everything, because everything went well without him there. So they haven't leaned.
I love that you're saying this right now. I absolutely love that you're saying this right now, because anybody would think like that as it's going on, when you're watching that episode, you're like, man, this is going great. And like, but Carmy's like total constant control over the situation that he can't get over is such a detriment to his character, changing the menu and like doing all of these stupid things that he's trying to like, his hurdles that he just can't get over. I absolutely love. Anybody in the right mind would be like, yeah, I mean, the restaurant's running great without you, of course, but like the person that he is and everything that happened with Mikey and all of like his constant need to be there and oversee everything. Yeah, I think I love that you're saying that, because season 4, is a lot of cool themes that come from that refrigerator.
Cool. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, continue.
So end of season 2 was great. Season 3, it's been fine.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's been fine. John Cena was fun.
Yeah, there we go.
Wait, you're that deep?
I'm
How
like
far?
He said he's about halfway through.
Oh,
yeah.
I guess I didn't hear you say that. My
Yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Also, Brandon is just now starting The Bear. He started it today. He texted me before we.
Okay.
He texted me before we started recording in season 4. Sorry, season 4. He texted me before we started recording, and he said, "Man, 3 episodes in, and I'm absolutely loving this." And I was like, "Let's go, man! You're only gonna love it more." So, just quick refresher there.
Yeah. A couple other things. Still been watching Lost with my wife. Watched probably 2 of my favorite episodes so far in the show, which is season 1, episode 19 and 20. The first one was the backstory episode for John Locke, who currently is, I think, my favorite character of the show. And then episode 20, there's a lot of stuff that happens. It's very emotional, and it's accompanied by beautiful score writing by Michael Giacchino, which then, I told Reagan, I was like, by the way, he does the Fantastic Four soundtrack, which I had already seen Fantastic Four at that point because we watched that last night, and then her and I went to see it today for my second time. But great episodes. Really looking forward to more progress in the story for Lost. Fantastic Four twice. We'll talk about that later. And then the only other thing was Eddington, which I know Charlie and I have both seen. I don't think we're really going to get into it. I don't really care to, if I'm being totally honest.
Chilling.
I didn't like it. I think it's like a 4 out of 10, if that. And I think Ari Aster is he kind of relies on the weird wackiness of his movies and the unpredictability of his movies without them really at least to me, feeling like they have a lot of depth or much to say. This movie heavily leaned into the politics of COVID-19, and I thought that it would have an actual thing to say about it, but it really just used that to get to a certain point in the story and then flip it on its head and kind of just go the wacky, wild route with it. And even within that, I still don't feel like they explored anything that had any sort of message or interesting arc. It was just a bunch of things happening. So I really was not a fan of it, basically, in the slightest. Also, don't know, Charlie and I were talking about this a little bit before the podcast, his obsession with Joaquin Phoenix's balls. I don't know, man. It's just but it genuinely is in the last 5 minutes of the movie, and it's such a scene of why do we need to see him on the toilet with his schlong out? Why do I need to see it? There's 0 point. So really rough. And I understand the divide.
Well, actually, I can understand maybe a little bit why it was included, but I can also see how it didn't need to be there. But that would go into spoilery things for Aiden's sake. So
yes. No, I get what you're saying. So wasn't a fan, if I'm being totally honest. So 4 out of 10 for me. And I think that wraps it up for what I watched. So very big week. 4 movies, basically a whole season of the show, if you kind of, half and half, season 2 and season 3 of The Bear. So it's a lot. Mr. Aiden, I know you've been busy, brother. Hope you've been doing well.
Yeah, man.
Give us the update.
Well. Lots of studying, but it's been fine. In that studying, I can kind of pick and choose what TV shows or movies that I want to watch. And if it doesn't really work out, if it's something such as My Adventures with Superman, that I feel like I want to watch later and devote more attention to it, then I will. So these aren't in any particular order, but debates and stuff aside, I started watching Demon Slayer because I don't know if y'all got the trailer for the movie coming out in September. Did you get it, Ben?
I got it today, yeah, but not a couple.
Oh, you got it
days
today
ago.
also?
Yeah, weird random thing. They also just played the Odyssey trailer as a trailer today, not as a special, because we got the Avatar Fire and Ash trailer as a special thing. The Odyssey trailer just played, which was
interesting.
I was shocked.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're just going to start attaching that to every big release until a new trailer for it comes out.
I was gonna say it's still not even released online yet, right? The Odyssey trailer.
It's not, and it's
weird. Avatar didn't either, right?
No. And it's weird because a couple days ago when I watched Fantastic Four the first time, there was only like 2 trailers and then the Avatar trailer. And then today it's like there was like 10 trailers, including Odyssey and Avatar. It was a really weird spread.
Our Avatar trailer came after the AMC.
Yeah.
So like they did all that, and then it like at that point a regular movie would start. Then they did the Avatar.
Yes. That's how they did it for the
they,
Odyssey at my theater a couple weeks ago as
for
well.
Superman. Yeah.
It was for Jurassic World, actually. It didn't play before Superman.
That's right. That's
dude,
right.
Because I turned to John, and John still hasn't seen the Odyssey trailer at this point. But I turned to him during Superman. I was like, I saw it last week. It's still attached to movie screenings now for Superman. You're going to see the Odyssey trailer. And then it didn't play. And now I've seen it twice. So feel bad for
That's
him.
great. It hates John. It's just staying away from John. Also, big shout out to John. If he's listening to this, or Ben, you can pass this message along. I didn't get back to him with my Fantastic Four thoughts like I told him I would, because I figured he'd be with you, and I was like, we'll just keep it ominous, whatever, for the pod. So, John, I'm still interested in hearing your thoughts. I'll text you after the podcast comes out. Anyways, but yeah, so I started watching Demon Slayer because the trailer for it looks absolutely amazing. The animation's great, but it's all right. I'm 6 episodes in. I feel like I've just spoiled myself with like watching 2 of what people regard as the greatest animes of all time, and then trying to switch to this. It's been all right. I watched Crazy Stupid Love because my wife had never seen it before. She had never seen the big plot twist, one of the biggest plot twists in all of movie history. And so I got to see her. I mean, just what people say. Oh my, here this guy. Here, what, Charlie? Come on, man. Come on, let it out, man. Let's go. Let's hear it, man. The eye rolls are crazy.
I didn't even roll. I looked around the room. I was like, "What the fuck?" That's a crazy statement. But
it's what I've seen. I know it's a staple plot twist. It's one of the more iconic ones. And so she had never seen it before, so I got to see her reaction to that. It was great. It's an all right movie. Honestly, I liked it a lot less than I did the first time I watched it. It didn't age well for me. 3.5 out of 5 stars. I watched I went on a Sandman binge this week. All right, I watched Grown Ups. Honestly, holds up. Like the humor is like hit or miss. Like just like not really funny, but genuine fun movie. Grown Ups 2, very bad. So I think I gave it like a 3 out of 5 for Grown Ups. Only, I mean, it's realistically it's like a 4 out of or 2 stars. But I gave it 3 stars because it's just a fun time. Grown Ups 2 was very bad. And I watched Happy Gilmore today. Again, just like not good. I don't know. I guess just his movies just
2 or 1?
Don't really 1. I'm gonna watch 2 after this. But
Happy Gilmore 1 is not that's one of probably his better movies in my opinion. But
I don't think it's
been a long time since I've seen it. It's been a long time.
I really didn't like it. Really not at all. And then I rewatched Sinners. Oh my god, man! Like, it's just great, man. It's almost a perfect movie. I had seen the edits, right, and I watched it once in Dolby, and I was so mad I couldn't go back to watch it in IMAX. I just got so busy. But it came to streaming, and I saw the edits of Last Time I Seen My Brother, Last Time I Seen the Sun, and I didn't know that song came back in. I thought that was like edited in for edits or whatever. I didn't know that song actually played in that end credit scene. And so I'm just like watching it, and I was just like, oh, dude, like I started levitating. I paused my studying and I went back and rewound it and watched that scene like 3 times. It was just so good, man. It is such a good movie. I ended up moving it up on my like best of the decade list so far. I think I moved it above the Batman. It's a fantastic movie.
Oh my god,
dude! Like Ben. I know you already like are just like, yeah, it's like more of like a 4. I think you said 4 stars, 4 out of 5.
I have a 4.5. I don't.
4.5.
I think it's.
Okay.
I think it's great.
I think it's a 10 out of 10 movie. Like it is the shit, man. So yeah, I'll have to double check. I'll get back in with where I actually have it placed. I can't log into my letterbox right now, but yeah, it was It was a fantastic rewatch. One of my favorite rewatches that I've had in a long time. So yeah, I absolutely love Sinners. And so yeah, I had a pretty fun week, I guess. I don't know. The Sandman binge probably wasn't the best idea.
As for me, just been binging Prison Break. I'm on season 4 now.
Jeez.
It's still a pretty enjoyable show. I do think it's overrated from the things that I've heard about it in the past, but it's still very enjoyable. It's really funny for those of you guys who've like I can't believe I haven't talked about this before, but I don't know if you guys watched The Flash and the other like the CW shows and whatnot. I know Ben wasn't into TV shows, so I guess not. But Aiden, I don't know if you watched them, but damn, you guys didn't. You guys missed
I'm
out. That's actually
totally,
crazy.
I'm
Seasons
totally good
1
on
through
the
3.
CW shows.
What,
I'm
dude?
totally
No,
good on
seasons
those.
1 through 3 of The Flash are phenomenal, and the main guy in Prison Break plays Captain Cold in that show, and the guy who plays his brother in Prison Break plays, I forget his name, but he's basically the opposite. He has like a fire gun instead of a cold gun. So that's a little funny, cool thing. But yeah, I've been watching that, and I rewatched the first 2 Fantastic Four movies. I skipped 2015 in the build up to First Steps, and that'll tie back more into probably when we actually talk about Fantastic Four. But that's all I've been doing watch wise. I haven't done anything. And Eddington, obviously, which Ben already mentioned. So
I
I didn't talk about it much. I think I liked it more than you, but I was still I left it like confused more than anything about the message. I'm in agreement there. I do think for like what you're talking about, the first half, it felt just like a mirror almost, and I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, and I'm not, these aren't my words either. I just saw somebody say this and I kind of agree with it. Like it's like they held up a mirror for the 2020 COVID stuff, and they're like, do you like what you see, and like that kind of thing. And so maybe that was the vibe they were going for, and so, but I don't know. But yeah, at a certain point, it's just like it takes a turn. It's like, what the hell? Like, and then it goes like, what the hell? Yeah. I don't know. It's crazy. And I don't watch very many Ari Aster's things. I think the only thing I've seen, he did Hereditary, right? Yeah, that's the only other thing that I'd seen from as far as Ari Aster goes. So
don't watch Beau is Afraid. Do not watch Beau is Afraid.
Okay.
I mean, it's like probably Afraid, better right? than this, but like,
it's a very
weird. It's just weird.
It's I really liked Beau is Afraid for the feeling that it gives you and like how eerie and just like weird it is. I really like that a lot. But based on what y'all are saying about Eddington, the themes and like plot and story, y'all are probably gonna feel the exact same about it. Or Charlie, you will probably feel the exact same about it.
Sure.
But I think Beau is Afraid, like artistically and like visually, is so stunning. Like it is
way better than Eddington.
Dude, it's so stunning, and that like I said, the feeling that it leaves you with is very like, I don't know, it's very like eerie. Like it's like
the
Hereditary.
Like, what did I just watch? Hereditary, exactly. What did I just watch? But it's in like it's a horror movie meant to leave you with an eerie feeling way. But these more like drama thriller movies that he's doing, it leaves you more confused. It doesn't feel like it fits the vibe as well.
I will say I still had a good time. I guess it's just not what I expected from this story. And I also have some complaints with like actors and whatnot, but I don't want to touch on it too much with that for Aiden's sake. So yeah, that was my past 2 weeks, week actually, sorry.
All right. With that being said, we have a very small list update to get into. For those of you who don't know, we at the start of the year did a little snake draft to come up with lists of projects that were coming out this year for movies and TV shows. And then throughout the year, as we are getting the Rotten Tomatoes scores, we have a point system to reward us points. And at the end of the year, we're going to see who had the best overall list. The only update that we have for this week is we have the score for Fantastic Four First Steps, which I believe is in the high 80s for the critic and the low 90s for the audience score, which gives Aiden 5 points for that project, bringing him to a total of 9 points with 2 projects left, that being Stranger Things Season 5 and Marty Supreme. Aiden, how are you feeling, man? I know.
Hold on, I want to say Stranger Things.
Whatever.
We haven't talked about this much, but it's very. I think it's only the poster thing that Aiden sent that has me confused, truthfully, because the trailer still said New Year's Eve and not New Year's Day.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it'll still be fine. But like, if it does end up being New Year's Day, I'm fine allowing it.
If it's one
What is it?
episode
What does
and
it
we'll
matter?
have scores, can't we just
That's the
cut
thing. Yeah.
Can we cut
matter?
we can cut the scores off at New Year's? How about that?
I mean, here's the thing.
I was gonna say like cut it off like a day after it's premiered to get people like a chance to like put up reviews.
I just don't
user
think it'll
reviews and
change
critic.
the overall score that much.
Oh, I mean, I agree, but I also agree with Aiden. Like, what does it matter? Like, this boy's not winning. He's not
That's
winning.
what I'm saying. Like, what is this all for? Like, there's no reason to debate this because
it's for integrity. Okay, we got to keep integrity in this league. What are we doing?
I mean, whatever. Yeah. Cool. Fantastic Four got me 5 points. I mean, yeah, literally there's nothing to say about it. Like, we're on to next year. It'll be cool to see how things shape up with like the rest of these projects. I guess I just whatever. It doesn't matter. Who cares, dude? Like, whatever. I fumbled. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Let's be.
I mean, it's cool.
Still a good time, you know.
It's cool that Fantastic Four got 5 points. Like, yeah, it's I am really happy about that. I told Ben, I don't know if you heard, Charlie, but I'm like, it's cool that I at least know that I like at least pick something right and pick something good. Yeah, I don't think the Bear season 4 deserves a 60 at all.
1000% agree.
Like, I think it should definitely either both be in 90s or both be in 80s. But like anything lower, it's just like, yeah, I think I really got screwed there. I genuinely will take fault for the Mickey 17 pick because I was telling Brandon I had an honorable mention of Predator Badlands, which they played that trailer before Fantastic Four. And I mean, look, dude, like I literally had that as my honorable mention last second. I was like that or Mickey 17, and I was like, I gotta go Mickey 17. So like that one is genuinely just like my fault. But like the Bear season 4, I mean,
you're robbed.
I've come to terms with it. Cool. Fantastic Four got 5 points. Let's go. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Benjamin is currently in the lead, and we'll see if he can hold that lead because he's done for the year, whereas I still have one more project. So
I have been checking and holding out that I just get 1 more % on like Andor season 2 or I think there was a couple other options for going up, but there's also options for going down if I get some bad reviews on like Daredevil or something. So we'll have to keep an eye out for things, but at this point,
what would be pretty cool, and like I doubt this happens, but I've been keeping an eye on the Bears score because it's at a 69 audience, but that 69 in the past like 2 weeks, that 69 has dropped to a 67 and has gone back up to a 69. Weeks after the show came out, it is still moving. If that even just moves up to the 70s and I get an extra point, like that's 10 points. Stranger Things, like I would need my next 2 projects to both be 90s, and then I'm like tied with Ben, and then it's still a close race at that point. But yeah, I mean, there's still a sliver of hope there. I think regardless, it'll be like closer than we were thinking, but yeah, I keep an eye on season 4 of The Bear because that audience score has been moving a little bit. And I think if I'm at 10 points compared to 22, that's a 12-point difference. That's 2 6s, and that's not completely out of the realm of possibility. So yeah, we'll see. It should still be a somewhat fun race.
I think there's a chance that Stranger Things ends up giving you a crap ton of points, but we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, we'll see.
Dream on,
With
buddy.
that, we are moving into our little question of the week, which is something that we're going to officially start doing, where whoever is hosting comes up with a little interesting question for us to debate. Gentlemen, I hope you are ready for this question because I'm really excited to get into this. And I came up with this, and then there was like more developments with it, so it makes it even more interesting. The question this week is, should the Marvel Cinematic Universe reset its timeline? Starting off, we're just going to go around and just give a quick little yes or no. Aiden, what are you thinking?
I think 1,000% yes.
Charlie?
I mean, I guess off the cuff, I would say, it's where it's at in time right now, yeah.
I think I'll say no. I think I'm against it.
Really?
But you know what? Let's get into it.
Okay, well, here's my thought process as to like why, because I mean, even I don't know if this stemmed from partially the interview from Kevin Feige this week from you on this question, where I think he said that like eventually they're going to have to recast Iron Man and Captain America and characters like them, and so like I think that all just but confirms that that's going to happen, at least to some degree. Maybe there's some weird crossover like we're seeing with the DCU right now with like, especially, I don't know if you guys watched I heard you guys talk about it a little bit when I had to walk away, but the Peacemaker trailer today, like it's confirmed that Peacemaker absolutely killed Rick Flag Jr. and Rick Flag Sr. is now coming after him from the Suicide Squad movie, which is technically in the DCEU. So that is like, I don't know if it's going to be that type of situation, but I think overall, I like at a certain point, I don't know if we can talk about box office numbers and all this stuff that might be why the MCU is in the position that it is in so many different people's minds today. But like all this homework, yada, 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 however you want to look at it, that would help that. That would alleviate that. If you can let the general audience know that that is what is happening here.
Well, and here's
you know what I think requires that is also there has to be a gap. There has to be a time where we're not having these movies.
They won't do that. They won't do that.
Yeah, I don't think they will either.
Here's what I'll also say. Like, we had this conversation when Agatha was coming out, where it's like, cool, this stuff is happening. Even other TV shows, Wonder Man, like all of these shows that are introducing these new characters. We literally just talked about it last week with Ironheart. Why do I care? Why do I care whenever I know that there are 2 huge Avengers movies that are coming that could possibly reset the universe, and we could never see these stories be finished? There is nothing in production right now. Like, oh yeah, we might make an Agatha season 2. We haven't heard anything on the rest of Ironheart stories. So when I'm sitting there and they're expecting me to watch it and care about these characters, why? If I know that there is nothing following this, if there's no more established universe other than what we see in the movies and what they want to bring in from the TV shows that were critically received well, or that factor into what the big movies are gonna touch on and explain. If we have like a West Coast Avengers, cool. Now we care about Miss Marvel, and now we care Young Avengers. Now we care about Ironheart. Now we care about bringing these people in. Kate Bishop, who we haven't seen in 2 years, 3 years. It's just I feel like they need to get back to that.
Actually, we saw her in the post-credit scene of the Marvels. So
cool. Where has that gone? I mean, like, seriously. I feel like you need to at some point get back to a smaller stakes established universe, and bringing in these new characters and trying to keep hand fisting things in. It's just, it gets to a point where the movies do start suffering, and that's where we see the box office struggles come in. It just happened with Thunderbolts. Nobody cared about Thunderbolts because nobody watched those TV shows.
Yeah.
Hey, bro.
Okay.
Vision said it best, man. A thing isn't beautiful because it lasts. Vision said it best, man.
Dude. Okay. Since I'm 2v1ing here a little bit, I got a couple points that are.
Oh, I'm off Aiden's team. I'm on your team. I'm off Aiden's team.
I got a couple points that I want to dive into more specifically. So, first of all, I think the defense of saying that, oh, there's all these things we don't care about and they need to rein it in and make us care again, I think that is an awful excuse for all the crap that we have gotten the last few years, for them to cover it up by just saying, you know what, screw it. All these loose ends, we're just going to cancel all of them and then hone back in so that people care on it and refine it back to a place that is more palatable for people to consume and actually care about what's going on. Like I understand, yeah, there is all these things that they have not fulfilled at all. Post-credit scenes from years ago, they have never touched. I get all of that. But still, we cannot just excuse them by saying, well, they're just going to reset the universe and forget all of this group of things ever happened. That's awful. That, like, I don't think that it.
So you're gonna be mad if they don't go back to the Agatha stuff ever again? You're gonna be mad about that?
That's the point. Like the Agatha stuff, the Ironheart stuff. If people don't care to watch these shows, then why would you keep building on that and try and find a way to force them to like it or force them to care about it? Like, you fumbled, cool, move on. Like, it's gotten to that point, especially in the past 5 years after COVID and with all the TV shows.
Yeah, and I can see that. I do understand that. And yeah, I guess I agree that, like, would I really care about them doing an Agatha season 2 if it means that they continue what they teased? No. Truthfully, no. But my solution to that is not we should go back and fulfill all those things. My solution to that is these projects could have happened and been, their own little pocket of a thing and not tease that there was more. Because then now that we have 20 of those that all have loose ends and all have threads that haven't gone anywhere, then it becomes a problem. Whereas if you just got Agatha and then it didn't tease anything like there was basically a season 2, then it's like, okay, it's a bad show. We don't need to revisit it, but there's no tease of something more to come. But instead, they've stacked all of that on top of each other. It just shouldn't have happened. That, like, I know we can't go back and fix that, but that is the solution, is we shouldn't be here in the first place. And so using this reset as basically like a way to excuse all of these faults, that just doesn't sit well with me. But inherently, I understand, like, yeah, refining things and killing off some of the things I don't like, sure. Like, I get that, and it sounds great. But there's still a piece of me that, like, will be very critical that we even have to get to this point. I don't like that at all.
I also think that we're going to get the things that matter from all the things that have branched off that we don't care about. Like, the things that matter from the Agatha thing are Tommy and Billy, and those two are going to be there. They're going to be part of the Champions TV show that they're making right now, which is just the Young Avengers. Like, they're going to get them, and then Agatha will be gone, and she's going to be a ghost that'll maybe pop up occasionally until this reset, and then she'll be gone. I struggle to think of anything else like She-Hulk. I think she's going to be in either Doomsday or Secret Wars or both.
Shang-Chi post-credit scene. Is that going to lead to anything?
I think there's a way that they can. I think there's a way they can hand fist the post credit scene in a way, because I saw somebody talking about, like, after events that have happened. I'm not even dealing with the Fantastic Four, but just like the incursions and whatnot that we can assume are going to be prevalent in Doomsday and whatnot. That there's a way that they can call back to that post credit scene. It's going to be something cheap because there's no way that's what they were building to whenever that post-credit scene came out. But I think that there will be a way
It'll
that
just
they
be
find a way to put it through.
Doomsday. Hey, remember that thing we saw that one time?
That's what I'm saying.
Quantumania
post-credit
scene, right? Like, I'm just saying, like,
wait, what post-credit scene? Sorry,
Quantumania.
Quantumania. Oh,
so, like,
I think honestly though, I think we can say Loki handled that. I think we can say Loki handled that, and I think there'll be a line of dialogue that Loki says, "Oh, I was dealing with this guy in the TVA." I think there'll be a line of dialogue like that if it's needed, though. And that's the thing. I don't even know that it's needed, because if people care, then watch Loki. But I mean, I don't know. Then that goes back to the homework discussion and everything like that.
It used to be the case that everything was significant and eventually got paid off. There are some exceptions to that. Spider-Man Homecoming post-credit scene. We still haven't seen Scorpion come to life in the MCU. That's it's a thing that was teased. And other franchises, Morbius post-credit scene, that just got killed off. Not really relevant, but I thought of it just because of Michael Keaton. But I'm just saying, like, for the most part, though, you go back to phases 1 through 3, and everything was very intentional and very clear. One thing led to another in a very clear build-up to where very few things were left as loose ends. And so now, even if you're saying like, oh, they're only going to bring in the things we care about, then why did we see all of these things that we don't care about? That's my biggest thing.
I think it goes back to like what he's been saying, like the constant talking about. Yeah, we kind of fumbled with quantity over quality, and like there were a lot of times where I was stretched extremely thin, and now we're getting into where we're gonna dumb it down, or not dumb it down, but take it down to like 1 or 2 movies a year. I just think the canon event for this timeline was that situation happening post COVID, and I would even go as far, I don't know, maybe y'all can push back. I would even go as far as to saying maybe their only option right now is a soft reboot. Because we had been talking about, there had been talks
To
about
include
like
the X-Men and stuff. Yeah, I'd say for sure.
I mean,
Because
even
I
if
feel
this,
like we're at a point where you can't just, unless you make them on another world like they did the Fantastic Four.
but I mean, yeah, that's fine for X-Men for sure.
I would
But
rather they do that, to be honest.
even deeper,
Make them on another world?
or
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, Aiden, continue.
no, that's fine. To bring the X-Men in, yes, but I think their only option, and they've been backed into the corner of a reboot because of everything that happened 2021, 2022. That being all of these TV shows and all of these points that were supposed to lead to something that ended up not leading to something, and then we get this discussion right now. I think it's a canon event that this was supposed to happen, and the only thing we're building to right now is a Doomsday script that isn't even finished, a Secret Wars Avengers movie. Like, even just the fact that we're getting Secret Wars 7 years after we got Endgame, and we haven't built to anything. Like, we don't have any threads or anything. Like, that is the only option right now, is a soft reboot after you get these movies out of the way. I think they're backed that far into a corner, and if anything were to change, it should have happened in 2021. It should have happened after Jonathan Majors, the Jonathan Majors stuff came out. I think at this point that is the only option.
I would push back on some of that reasoning a little bit, because I was thinking about and just doing some self-reflection on this. We didn't have a ton of setup for Infinity War until Infinity War. The biggest thing was, one, where are the Avengers? And we know that Civil War caused them to have, be in separate spots. That is obviously a big thing. And then two, just post-credit scenes teasing Thanos collecting the Infinity Stones. Those are really the only things that we know until we get to Infinity War and Endgame. And that movie was able to establish the story, establish Thanos in a single movie. I mean, we had seen him in a couple.
I'm sorry. That's the thing though. Like, it's not just a couple movies at this point now. It's a couple movies and a couple TV shows year after year, and they're still not barely anything.
I agree with that. All I'm saying is, like, at this point, we know from Thunderbolts, we know where that new Avengers team is. We had reference to Sam Wilson and an Avengers team as well. Like, we know where our Avengers are at, and we know that Doom is going to be in the picture. Those are the two things we know. That is not like that different than what we knew. Obviously, there was more buildup to Thanos, and there was more scenes with Thanos, and we had more stuff of Avengers team interacting up to that point. But otherwise, like, going into Doomsday, we aren't lacking that much foundation, in my opinion, compared to where we were at going into Infinity War. So, like, I'm not saying that, that gives me a bunch of hope, but if Infinity War was able to be one of the best MCU projects based on its setup, I don't think we can count out Doomsday being able to bring it together like Infinity War did.
It's so funny because I feel like we're on like complete opposite. Like, I feel like if this conversation were happening like a year or two ago, we'd be like complete opposite points, because I mean, we'll talk about this later, but like, after Fantastic Four, like I'm not sold on Doomsday anymore. I really am not. I've kind of like backed up a little bit and just kind of like pulled a lot of my hopium and copium. And so I'm glad that you've brought this question up, because now I have a way to get it out. But I don't know. It just makes me look back and think like I agree with what you're saying. It will always make me look back and think, then what from the past 5 years could we have cut out that
Oh, so much.
well that's what I'm saying. And so
Yeah.
that's why I keep saying that I feel like we're just all of that stuff shouldn't have happened if a reboot wasn't going to be your way out. And you weren't going to talk about a reboot this early on in because this is coming a Secret Wars and talks of a reboot are coming a lot earlier than at least I thought would ever come after stepping out of Endgame. I don't know if that's the same for everybody else, but I feel like those years following 2019 were really, looking back, very consequential as to in dealing with where we are at now, even talking about a reboot. And so that's why I keep saying that I feel like it's their only option.
I just I don't think I disagree with any of the points that you're making. And I also, of course, have expressed my hesitation with Doomsday. You've been much higher on it than I have when we had leaks coming out and rumors coming out. I've been very vocal. My only point is that I don't think we can count it out for the reason of foundation and not properly setting it up. Because if we contrast that to the first three phases, they were able to still pull off Infinity War. I'm just saying that point I don't think stands. That doesn't, that doesn't solve.
I also
all
feel
my
like it's weaker
issues.
though. Like its foundation is much weaker than even
I think
Infinity
he could agree
War
with
had.
that. Yeah, I think he could agree with
it.
that.
It is much weaker, but it's like you can I think that people give Infinity War too much credit for its foundation. Like that's really that's our Thanos being in the movie, being the villain.
And a lot of it is based around plot holes too, because like you think of like the post-credit scene to Avengers 2, where he already has the gauntlet, and then in Infinity War they talk about how he just got the gauntlet because he made the elf guy make it for him right then and there, right before Thor Ragnarok happened. So
yeah. The only other point that I wanted to really make about this general question is, so I said that recent things that have happened have affected my view on it, and that is Kevin Feige's interview. The potential of a new Iron Man or a new Captain America happening in a rebooted universe, I think is awful. I am not there for that whatsoever. Charlie, you brought up box office reasoning. Yeah, if there was a brand new Iron Man movie, it would probably make a lot more money than something like Thunderbolts or some of these other projects that are coming out. If there was a new Captain America, it would do a lot better than Brave New World, in my opinion. If we were establishing a brand new universe and recasting Steve Rogers. I agree with all of that. Absolutely. But my bigger issue with it is if the reason for doing that is one, to just confine your timeline and delete a bunch of loose threads, but then two, to introduce something like the X-Men into the universe, I think you just use this fact that you have an unlimited multiverse rather than saying, oh, we need to go to a new multiverse where X-Men exists and now we can get a new Iron Man and Captain America. Why can't we still refine what we have without ruining what we knew, basically? Like, I think they can still continue the story and tell the story. Even if they went to a new multiverse, why can't Iron Man have still sacrificed himself to kill Thanos and defeat Thanos in that multiverse? Why do we need a new Iron Man when these characters have been essential to where we're at? Like, for example, if we're going to keep the Thunderbolts around, the Thunderbolts exist in a universe where Tony Stark sacrificed himself. Some of them experienced the blip. All of these things are known. If they go to a new universe and all of a sudden there's just Tony Stark, who still works for Stark Industries and then becomes Iron Man, I feel like that just it undermines where our characters who stick around have been in this universe.
I mean, I think there's a lot of story potential with that aspect of maybe having them universe hopping to where another Iron Man exists and yada, yada, yada. But also, I mean, what is the point of an interconnected universe, right? I would say it's the idea of having these characters all interact with each other in some way at some points in time. I feel otherwise I don't see the grander purpose of a connected universe. And so now we're at a point where I'm never going to see Iron Man interact with any of the X-Men. Wolverine.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm never going to see Steve Rogers, Captain America, talking to a more adult Spider-Man, a more mature Spider-Man, let's say, and you can go down the list of all the different possibilities that we're just never going to see because those characters are gone.
No,
And now,
I want to push back on that because I am not against if we go into a new universe where there are X-Men, if Tony Stark is an established, like he is Iron Man in that universe, I'm not against that. What I would be against is if we bring in the X-Men from a universe and then we have basically a new origin story movie of Tony Stark becoming
sure.
Iron Man. That I am completely against.
Sure.
I'm not against that at all.
Well, see, and this is a weird take for me after what I said about origin stories last week, but I think especially if we're continuing, if it's just a branch off of the MCU, like it's still, let's say, the X-Men, we somehow blended them into the universe that the Thunderbolts are in currently right now, and like the Thunderbolt characters are still around and yada yada yada. So this is still the 616 MCU, but then they all move over to a different universe where this Tony Stark exists. I would say that like there's a way you can do that and just have Iron Man already be Iron Man, and you don't even need to like have lines of dialogue about how he became Iron Man, because we know that. Like, we as the MCU audience, we know who Iron Man is, we know how he became Iron Man. We've been watching this cinematic universe this entire time. So
and see, the reason why I say I'm not totally against that is because, one, I don't even think we'd see that for another 10 years. The way I am getting giddy about it in my head, for lack of a better word, is say we go into this new universe, right? And whoever Feige wants to keep and have in this rebooted universe, he keeps in there. So maybe it's not Tom Holland Spider-Man. Maybe Sony lets him have Miles. I don't know. Maybe it is, whatever. You have your X-Men, you have your Thunderbolts, you have like, the Fantastic Four, the big hitters that you've always wanted to have in this connected universe. You have them in this universe. We have movies with them. We do an X-Men origin story, whatever. We just focus on these characters for a little bit. And then eventually we meet Tony Stark in this universe. And then eventually we meet Steve Rogers in this universe. And then you start to build into, well, now we have a universe with the X-Men and the Avengers joining. And then you have the Thunderbolts, like the West Coast, wherever you want to put them, the West Coast Avengers, the East Coast Avengers with the Thunderbolts. You have your Fantastic Four. You have all of these pieces that he has said that he would have wanted to have since the beginning. That is where I start to get giddy about it. That is where a recast for these characters doesn't bother me one bit, because I would rather see that than see the X-Men come into, the 616 and just never get to see Tony Stark again. Like what Charlie was saying, never get to see those characters interact. I would much rather see a new Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, Thor, like these Avengers that we have grown up with. I would much rather see a recasted version of them hanging out with the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and the Thunderbolts than for them to be in a universe where that is never a possibility, only for the sake of keeping their legacies intact. I think I'm completely fine seeing that.
I didn't disagree with that if they are established characters. Like if Captain America, he's around for World War II, and we just have a Captain America in the Marvel Universe who's in Avengers movies and maybe in some other projects, that's fine. I do not want another World War II movie establishing Steve Rogers as Captain America.
I don't think they would do that either. I think like Aiden said, like if that's going to happen, that's 10 plus years away.
Yeah, and even then, like I said, I could see them, maybe teasing like, oh yeah, we caught word of this guy this billionaire up in New York who flies around in a suit. Like, I don't think there's a need to redo those origin stories. Again, goes back to our topic last week. But I'm not going to sit here and say that I am totally against and I hate a recast and a new telling of these characters. Now, I will agree with you, Ben, there that we don't need to see the same origin stories. But like, if you're giving me an ultimatum of like, you either put the X-Men in this universe where all these characters are established, or you recast these characters and you just soft reboot the MCU, I'm taking the new casted Avengers any day of the week, because I want to see those interactions on screen. I want to see the Avengers, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and the Thunderbolts and Spider-Man all fight against I don't know who else, what big villain is left as an Avengers threat to fight against, But whatever, you get what I mean. I want to see them all team up for a greater cause. But if you're telling me I can't have that because we got to keep Tony Stark or RDJ Tony Stark and Chris Evans, Captain America, established and dead in this universe for the sake of legacy, I'm not taking it. I'm sorry.
And I think that it brings up other little problems too. Like if you bring back any Tony Stark in any universe, you bring back an Iron Man or a new one in a new universe. If Tom Holland Spider-Man is there, it's almost like a lock that at some point they have to address Tom Holland Spider-Man interacting with a new Iron Man and dealing with the emotional weight of that. And I'm not saying that that's inherently a bad thing and that they couldn't have some interesting storytelling with that, but there's probably more things that you could think about and go down the list of if we introduce a new character or a new cast for this character, it means that we have to touch on this because of what's been established. And I don't think they want to like lock themselves into too many of those things that basically like have to be addressed if they recast certain characters.
I think at that point if man, I don't even know if I like this by saying it because it does go back to your original topic. I think at that point it's just a focus on the X-Men and start like fuck all these other projects. Like cool, MCU's done, like no more Thunderbolts, like all of it's dead. We're starting with the X-Men. 10 years down the line, then we start to get into like these characters that like these new Avengers, a new Spider-Man, whatever. I think that's the only way. Like if that's the route they're going, I truly believe him even bringing up the words a rebooted universe. I think that's what you have to do. And honestly, if you're asking me right now, I think I'd be fine with that. I'm not gonna lie. I love
Like
the
after,
Thunderbolts.
right after Secret Wars, getting a new Iron Man and Captain America.
No.
Oh.
That's still later, but starting this new rebooted universe off with the X-Men, telling stories with the X-Men and heroes that we have never touched on before, and then later on down the line, you cast a new Spider-Man, you cast a new Tony Stark, Captain America, and you just like this old universe, the Thunderbolts, all these characters that we've seen the past 20 years almost is done.
What if we did like a Miles instead, just from the Spider-Man angle? Because
We can
I feel
actually-
like you can't go long without a Spider-Man movie. I feel like.
I'm only not bringing up Miles just because they said that he can't touch on. But yes, I like it. Just Tom Holland Spider-Man's done for. This Thunderbolts team that we just got is all like everything that we know of the MCU is done for. We start with the X-Men, we establish Miles, and we just start a new universe, start a brand new universe. I don't know. Honestly, I think I'd much prefer that than trying to keep forcing these pieces to stick together that have not worked for the past 5 years.
I go both ways. I'm conflicted.
It's sad. It's sad that I like.
There's
a
lot of good points
speaking that, but yeah.
There's a lot of good points both ways, which is why I wanted to talk about it, given all the recent conversations with it. So
great topic, Ben.
We'll keep discussing it as we learn more and time goes on and we get closer to Doomsday and whatnot.
Yeah.
But with that being said, we are finally getting into Fantastic Four: First Steps, the newest film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. As always, we are going to start off with a little countdown for our reaction for the film, and then we will get into a discussion. So, the Fantastic Four: First Steps reaction in 3, 2, 1.
Superman is better. Superman is better. Superman is better.
Dude!
Superman is better.
Wait. Hayden,
Superman is better.
It's good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What is this though?
I feel like
it's a 7 out of 10.
It's
a 3.5.
This is like
slight. I don't know if I say that.
Positive.
Why
is this not like a? What?
I mean, I didn't want to do like completely this, but
actually, I changed mine to a 1. Yeah, singular thumbs up. I shouldn't have done a double.
It's good. I'm very disappointed. I'm gonna be honest.
Dude,
I had a lot riding on this.
It's gonna be an interesting one.
God, I don't even know where to start, man. I was so excited for this movie right up until like before it even started. Like I'm grabbing Brandon's shoulder. I'm like, dude, like this is it. Like I'm here for Fantastic Four. And it's a good movie. Like I had a ton of fun with it. I think that like the visuals are amazing, the action scenes are amazing. But that's it, man. There's no chemistry between this family. There's more chemistry in these interviews than there is on the movie. There's more emotional. No,
That's crazy. That is crazy work, bro.
Can I keep going?
Go ahead, but you are spitting some bullshit right now. That is insane. That is insane.
I mean, it's just what I felt.
Hey, this guy's only seen it once. This guy's only seen it once.
These guys, Jesus Christ. There is such thing as a wrong opinion here on this podcast, I guess. Holy. My point is there are great chemistry moments, right? Like I can acknowledge that. Like there are tons of moments where two characters are sharing the screen and cool, you know, it's hard hitting. Like, you know, Johnny and Ben are just always playing off of each other. Like, I guess saying that they lack chemistry is like the wrong thing. I just see more of it in the interviews than there was in the movie. There weren't anything in the trailers that made me emotional and made me cry was just not in the movie. Per line of Ben is a rock, Johnny's Johnny, I'm always here wasn't even in the movie. This movie is under 2 hours long, and I feel like if you just use 30 more minutes of that to show me more moments of them being a family and them interacting with each other, I didn't get emotional once, man. I didn't care. What? I didn't care once in the third act. Out of anything that was going on, I did not care. Everything that happens with Sue in the third act, did not care. It was not hitting for me like I wanted it to.
No.
And so that's why I say that it's just like
that worked for you, Ben. That's crazy.
I disagree. I disagree with both of you here.
Dude, Dude, we're not jumping into spoilers yet, Aiden, and I want you to continue. But all I have to say, that was so obviously for cheap emotional value. I don't know how you felt anything for that. Like that is crazy.
I don't know why
I envy you for feeling.
I don't know why you think it was cheap.
Well, I can't talk about it without going into spoilers, but like, holy cow.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, the third act, we'll get into all of this stuff later, but I just want to get myself out. Second act, I thought it was perfect. It was phenomenal. Like, I feel like a lot of this movie is what I can only imagine y'all felt with Mission Impossible. Obviously, that's a very broad statement, and I'm not talking about general. I'm not talking about down to like very specifics, but a perfect second act. It was awesome. It was gorgeous. The stakes at the end of it just did not hit for me. I just did not care for anything in the third act. It was amazing to look at. It was fun to see them fighting. You know, there was a lot to feast your eyes on in this movie. Like, I'm not gonna lie, but that's it, man. Like, I don't know. I keep going back to the point that I cried more at the trailers than I did at the movie. There were more moments in the trailer where I was like, this is hitting. This is my family. This is going ham. And then I get to the movie, and the whole time I'm sitting there just waiting. I'm just waiting for something to pull emotion out of me, and it never does. And so that's why I say, like, the movie feels very undercooked. I like a lot of the beginning stuff, because a lot of the beginning I was like, okay, this is like, you know, he punches out the window and the Fantastic Four theme hits, and they're showing that they're an established like team of superheroes in this universe. But then as it kept going on, I really kept finding myself not being emotionally pulled in as much as I was expecting to based off the trailers. And I feel a majority of that with the third act, where I didn't really care about the stakes that Galactus brought with him. And again, I didn't really care for that moment that was happening at the end. I feel like Ben is just kind of exists there. The stuff with him and the stuff that they play around with towards the end, I feel like it's a lot of it's hand-fisted. You could tell that there's more there that was just left on the cutting room table. I do not like that. They focus a lot on Reed and Sue here. That's good, but you know, I want to see more. I want to see more than just one conversation between Reed and Ben. I want to see more than just a quick little scene of Reed and Johnny. Like, it felt like they were so paired up. Reed and Sue, Ben and Johnny, and we didn't even get a lot of that, man, because the movie's under 2 hours long. And so I don't know. There's a lot of things in here where it's like you got high moments in aura. Yeah, y'all got good writing. Don't have good character development in this movie. I mean, that's for sure. There's not a lot to. There's not a lot to see.
I was with you, man. You're going over the deep end. You going?
What I'm trying.
I wouldn't even praise this movie for crazy amounts of hype and aura. To be honest,
what? Okay, no. The space scene is probably one of the best scenes in any comic book movie ever.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Agreed. That's what I'm saying. That the action is amazing. I was over exaggerating a little bit. The action's amazing. Visually, it's stunning. I wanted more from the character development. I wanted more from the writing aspect of this movie because I feel like 2 hours was just not a lot of time. We just saw Jake Schreier do this 1,000 times better with Thunderbolts. And he had an extra character.
Let me also add that Superman and Thunderbolts is better than that.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying, bro. If you look at Thunderbolts and you look at what Jake Schreier was able to do with that team, and you look at Fantastic Four and what Matt Shakman did with him, it's night and day, man. And that shouldn't be the case because this is a family that are a family of iconic heroes. How is Jake Schreier doing it better than you with the Thunderbolts? In no universe should that happen.
Listen to this man's passion, bro. Listen to this man's passion. I love
that. I love the passion. I just so disagree with the take.
I was so high on this movie, and you know, egregious takes aside from. I know I've been talking forever. I'm sorry, but egregious takes aside, hype moments and aura aside, whatever. I look at what Jake Schreier did with Thunderbolts, and I look at what Matt Shakman did with Fantastic Four, and that just should not be the case. And I was so excited for this movie. It was my number one on our most anticipated Marvel movies. In no universe should that be the case, dude. And like, this is coming from someone who wanted to love it so bad and is walking out being like, Thunderbolts? You told me 5 years ago Thunderbolts would be better than this and would have better like character writing for this team than Fantastic Four? That's insane. That should not be the case. And here we are. So yeah, that's why I think it's a 7 out of 10. I'll get into like once y'all talk about like the amazing sequences, because I genuinely think all of that is so good. But the more I thought about it, I was at a 4 out of 5 stars. The more I kept thinking about it, the more I just really couldn't forgive character stuff, man. It feels so undercooked, and all of those trailers, the fact that like half of the scenes in the trailer just aren't in the movie, it's just so disappointing. It's very disappointing.
Ben, you go next so we can get an opposing point of view because I'm more in agreement with him than you are.
Well, a couple things. Yes, I think Superman is better. I think this is better than Thunderbolts, and I know I'm gonna get flack for that, but I'm just
I don't think you're gonna get flack for that from in the comments. Maybe from us, I guess.
But they are like neck and neck. It's not that there's a big gap. It's not like I've gone back and forth. Also,
a lot of people are loving this movie. Movie.
Also, the reaction I gave for 4 is because it's a 4-star out of 5-star. So this is really a weird position to be in because Aiden gave it a 4 and then lowered it to a 3.5, and I'm at a 4, and yet there is so many things that I disagree with. So this is a really weird spot to be in that our scores are not that different, but all of these problems that you have, I don't have some of them and have some of them to a lesser extent. So there's definitely things that you said that I agree with and others that I disagree with. I loved the character writing. I do think it was underutilized. Specifically, Ben would be like the most underutilized. I think Johnny played his part, but I wish that they played
it very safe with him.
They played it safe, but I really liked
also
his
real
inclusion.
Quick. I was thinking about this today. Did he say Flame On a single time?
No. They pointed out that it only comes from the cereal thing. He doesn't say it at all in the movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. That's cool, man.
That's
super cool. So we can build up to it's clobbering time moment, but we can't build up to a Flame On moment. Okay.
Because they had to give Ben his little sprinkles because they just decided to cut his entire subplot out.
Yeah. So we got to give. Might as well. We'll give Ben something here. Ah, dude.
Some cheap clapping moment in the theater. Anyways, continue. Sorry.
I'm pissed, bro. Yeah, it wasn't even that hard. It didn't even go that hard, bro.
It didn't.
Sorry.
You could barely hear him over the rubble. That's crazy.
Yep.
Anyways, but Reed and Sue, fantastic.
I agree.
Genuinely incredible. I will not take slander on either of them when it comes to character development.
Oh, yeah,
Pedro
that's true.
Pascal as Reed
100%.
Richards, phenomenal.
I'm gonna
Probably
let you tell me who you are. Fantastic.
probably the standout in the movie. I know a lot of people really like Sue Storm. I think Vanessa Kirby did a great job. Her moment giving a speech outside of the Baxter building was amazing. But I think something about Reed throughout, just like learning more about him and how his brain processes things
Yeah.
and how he approaches situations, I thought phenomenal. So he was probably
Yeah.
my favorite. And also, like, again, we'll get into specifics a little bit later. Even just his acting in the third act, if you think that was a cheap emotional moment, that's up to you. We'll get into that at some point. But Pedro's acting within that scene,
Sure.
stellar.
Very
Absolutely
good.
stellar. Very, very good. So
Mhm.
for character work, I can agree that Ben was underutilized. And you could say, 20 more minutes of them interacting with one another would be great. And I can agree that some of those lines in the trailer should have been in the movie. And it's devastating that they weren't because they tied in perfectly. Especially like even when you get like there are certain shots that are in the trailer that are tied to that dialogue, like Ben
Mhm.
being a rock and it's the TV turning off and he can see his reflection. That's still in the movie, but it's, a completely different scene. So that like reminding you like, oh yeah, there was cool dialogue over a scene like this and this dialogue hasn't shown up in the movie. So I agree that like 15, 20 minutes of more of them establishing the family and their connection would be amazing. However, I still think they did a really good job at it. And at its core, that then revolved around Franklin, which I loved how that worked and how much each of the members of the family cared about Franklin so incredibly much, which ties into why I like that moment in the third act, the willingness to do whatever it takes to save Franklin. And that is from multiple characters. And yeah, I know we got confirmed casting for these characters showing up in Doomsday, but there was a genuine part of me that was still like, oh, wait, like this moment with Johnny, what's going to happen here?
See, in Thunderbolts, I didn't feel it. Y'all even asked, and y'all said, did any of that affect your thoughts while watching Thunderbolts? And we were like, no, it affected everything in the third act for me.
No, because here's the thing. Okay, the moment with Johnny, which we'll talk about more specifically later. If that had happened, that does not mean that he is gone. You know what I mean? Like he's just somewhere. Okay, so that doesn't inherently mean that he
Sure.
couldn't be in Doomsday, and still this could have been a sacrifice.
But the actual third act thing that we're talking about, that does mean that. And so that's why one of the reasons that I think it's cheap.
Yeah, but it's also like we'll talk about this. We'll talk about this later. We can't just keep beating around it. We'll talk about it later. Yeah, visually stunning. Probably the best looking movie in the entire MCU. I agree. The second act is the best of the
Perfect.
three by far. Phenomenal stuff. Galactus. I loved Galactus and his inclusion in everything. I thought was
Could've been better.
amazing. Ralph Ineson, absolutely phenomenal as well in the role and his what?
Just Charlie, your little chime in right there.
Oh.
Honestly, could have just not even put him in and used a smaller villain. Lower the stakes.
Well,
Lower the
okay,
stakes
I disagree
and-
with you on the stakes,
No,
though. I
no,
felt
no,
the
no,
stakes
no,
a
no.
lot.
No,
I just think
but
there
the
could have been
stakes-
more with Galactus.
The stakes are a detriment to what we're wanting from this family.
No, that is
Yep.
the opposite.
Nope.
My critique with the movie, and the thing that I think would have made this absolutely incredible, is if we leaned into the stakes way more than we did. When they came out with that trailer that revealed that Galactus wanted Franklin, that to me was the same level of stakes as when Superman, the full message was revealed that Superman was sent there to conquer Earth, and you have this like, oh shoot, it's getting real moment. So when they revealed that in the trailer, one, I was pissed that they revealed it in the trailer. But two, in the movie, I think if they leaned into that way heavier, that like how important Franklin is, how much Galactus wants him, and the lengths that he's willing to go in order to get him, I think if they just took that and elevated it times two, that is literally like what would make this movie phenomenal is increasing the family dynamic, increasing the stakes. This movie's a masterpiece. That's literally my only two things that I think would make it way better.
See, I think the
Well, see,
family dynamic is already good. Like that, I think it was
I
actually
agree it's
handled
good.
phenomenally.
It's
No, actually,
fine.
I think it's top tier. Truthfully, with like a couple minute exceptions, I think that like Johnny and Ben could like bicker at each other more. And obviously, I would love more scenes. I'd love the movie to just generally be longer to have more of that. But I do think that what we got is phenomenal. I think that
Yes.
Ben and Johnny being bickering with each other similarly to like they did in the first two movies, but still having that like brotherly love, because I feel like the brotherly love aspect is a lot. It's not really there as much in the first two movies, especially rewatching them. And like it's I see it, but it's not as prevalent. But here it's like they bicker at each other, but they still love each other at the end of the day. I love, this is not spoilery, but I love in the second act when they're on their way in space and then they're like, oh yeah, and they fist bump each other. Oh, like I was like, dude, this is sick. I love all this. But as for the Galactus thing and Franklin thing, I feel like most of that, for what you're saying, Ben, it relies entirely on just giving Galactus more backstory, more of like why he does what he does, and they give us a little tiny crumb, but it's like that's not enough for me to like care about his cause for wanting Franklin.
He's just a mustache twirly villain. They reduced him down to just like a because they don't give you his like he drops little hints, but we know who Galactus is, so we pick up on it. But like for anyone watching this movie, they're just like, oh, like he wants Franklin, so that like I just don't get how that would correlate or like resonate with somebody who's just casually watching the movie. They don't give Galactus barely anything, man. He's reduced down to a mustache twirly villain.
But
I think that's what you're trying to say, Charlie. I'm sorry.
I think for me though, the difference is that you don't necessarily like. I understand that he just seems like a bad guy who wants to destroy everything for the sake of destroying everything. And yes, they should have established him more as a character. But to me, that doesn't undermine the stakes of him wanting Franklin, because that like the core of the family and what was set up with Sue being pregnant, that still has really big stakes, regardless of who wants Franklin. Obviously, that would elevate it even more. But I don't think that motive is directly tied to how much we care about the story or the villain, or in this case, Franklin. I think it can help, but inherently, I think the stakes are already there with just like he wants our child. So it's like, yeah, you could say all you want about him, just going around destroying planets, and we don't know about him. We know about this family. We know about their kid and how much they care about him. So it's still like the stakes are still there inherently.
That I think to me, stakes like I don't know. I like this might sound.
I personally felt more stakes for the actual planet. I want to say too. Like I understood the stakes for Franklin and everything, but the actual world of Earth 828, like I felt that more there because it's in a different dimension. Anything can happen here. That's where I felt most of it.
And stakes are different than motive, obviously. Like you can feel the weight of the threat of Galactus. You can still feel like, oh yeah, he might destroy Earth without having a huge backstory or knowing all of his motives. It can still feel like a real threat. You care about it less. Yeah, I'll give you that.
But at that point, all it is stakes, and it's like, I don't know. Like I look at Thunderbolts, and it's like, sure, the stakes weren't like massive and world ending, but I cared so much about the character the exact same way I cared about our main character and the team that was around her. In here, that's all he is just stakes. And that doesn't make me emotionally care at the movie. Like I don't know. I feel like your villain has to be almost as interesting as your main characters in a way. Because at that point, all he is stakes. All he is a force. And I don't want him to just be a force because that reduces him down so much. And what else is there to bite on? Not a lot from the Fantastic Four standpoint, which is
that's why I think if they had leaned into like, I don't know, the pain that of this hunger that he has to deal with and how long it's been, like really like digging down into how he's felt this whole time and really digging into why he needs his replacement. A little bit of I guess spoilers, but
yeah. Well, the other thing, I guess the other thing I was gonna say was about Shia LaBeouf, because I had almost the same problem with that where they don't address. We'll get into it with spoilers. We'll get into it with spoilers. Charlie, I finish your review. I cut you off and I never let you finish your review.
I mean, that's pretty much. I mean, like the thing. Oh my gosh, he was the most excited. The thing I was most excited for going into this movie, and he is criminally sidelined. And I've seen people try to say, "Oh yeah, he was sidelined," but I don't think that he just had nothing to do. I'd say he had nothing to do. Yeah. He actually had nothing to do. What did he do? The other three members all had something going on.
Yeah.
Ben got nothing. He walked around Yancey Street and lightly flirted with this girl. And sure, there's like little hints of him wishing he looked like how he still did and everything like that. But dude, at the end of the day, he doesn't get to be a rock for the family. He doesn't like it's. I just don't. It was so criminal to me that the character in the family with arguably the most heart and the most like, I don't know, tragedy is just tossed aside like this. It was crazy to me.
They address Reed's guilt for going up to space and causing all of this. They address it in a couple of lines, and that's it, man. There's more of that in the trailer than there is in this movie. And so, like, that's the thing. Like, I don't know. Like, I love dropping us in the middle of the story. Again, a very eerily similar movie to Superman at some points in terms of like topics that they touch on. But like, I don't know. God, I almost want to say maybe an origin story might have been good here. Like, even though I said we just don't need them anymore.
Oh,
but
dude, no.
Even
just for the hold on, Aiden. I think Aiden's cooking for the sake of the character arcs, not for actually not for the sake of like actually watching them get their powers, but for the sake of the character arcs. Because, dude, I'll tell you, nothing with Ben, nothing with the Thing is top tier. And this is what I was talking about earlier with when I rewatched the first two Fantastic Four movies. Nothing with the Thing here is done better than in the very first Fantastic Four movie with his wife looking at him horrified. She runs away from him, takes their ring off, puts it on the ground. He can't pick it up because his fingers are too big. There's nothing better than that in this movie. And that is crazy to me. But that's in a vacuum. That's in a vacuum. That one movie having those couple of great scenes. This movie as a whole, I haven't said my score. 8 out of 10. I'd say 8 out of 10. I give it. I think this movie's great. It's the best Fantastic Four movie, hands down. I don't want to take that away from it. But it is crazy that you can have something so painfully average to bad as the 2005 movie handling the Thing better back then. Like, I don't know, dude.
The only thing that I don't disagree that yes, having more of them and establishing their arcs would be good. The point that I disagree with is I don't think that inherently that needs to be their origin. I think 20 extra minutes of them would be great. That doesn't need to be before we get to this movie. It could be within this movie to flesh them out more. I would prefer that route versus more of an origin than we got, which was the brief relapse of them going to space and the recap of all of that.
Well, see, and I'd agree. And that's ultimately like my biggest like disappointment in the movie. My biggest flaw of the movie is that we just don't get a lot of time. Like y'all have mentioned, like, you know, Ben just gets nothing. Johnny, they play it super safe with him. They do some cool things with him, but ultimately I think they play it safe with him. And then Reed and Sue have amazing chemistry and they give a lot of the movie to them. And I mentioned this earlier in passing by, but like, cool. I would have loved to see more Sue and Johnny. I would have loved to see more Reed and Ben, but we don't. The runtime doesn't allot for that, and so that's why, like, I ultimately, whether it's an origin story or whether it's more time with them, so that I could feel more emotions with them and I could laugh more with them. That's ultimately my biggest fault of the movie is those 20 extra minutes. I also just didn't really like the third act, and I think Galactus is just too much of a force and not enough of an interesting villain. But again, see, like I'm at a 7 out of 10. Like I still think it's a really good movie, and I still had such a fun time with it, and I am very happy with it. At the end of the day, it kind of just felt like here's this new group of characters, and now we're on to Doomsday, and I wanted more from. I wanted to leave feeling what I felt with Thunderbolts. Instead, I left feeling like I just watched a Marvel movie, and that's not what I wanted. That's not what I was hoping to walk out with. And, you know, I'm a big character guy. I'm a big character development guy. I'm a big character art guy, and like two of your four,
that's me, buddy. All right, come.
Two of your, I mean, you're more of it than me. I mean, that's why the bear hits the way the bear hits.
Hey,
but
preach.
like, for two of your characters to get a lot more of that than the other two, when this is supposed to be a family, I feel like there's just a lot of potential that was just left.
That's unfair. I agree. We didn't get enough of Ben, and Johnny could have been better implemented, showing his relationship with, say, Sue. But I will push back because Reed and Sue should absolutely get more focus than the other two in this movie specifically because of the pregnancy, because of Franklin. Absolutely, they should be the focus. It should not just because
that's
you
fine.
want. Yeah, but
we're arguing the same. But we're arguing the same thing. Like that. That's fine. But at the end of the day, the other two don't get a lot, and that's that.
Okay,
I just.
All I was pushing back is it was seeming like you were saying.
I still enjoyed what Johnny got. I want to say too.
No. I'm saying that they had the most, and I feel like they should have. I feel like there's still no excuse for not having Ben and John. I think we're at the same part. We're just like miscommunicating. I agree with what you're saying.
Involvement, by the way, I think.
I love showing. Yeah.
From here on out, we're gonna have spoilers for everybody watching. Spoilers for Fantastic Four First Steps. So you have been warned.
Yeah. I think they could have leaned better into Johnny's character because what he seemed like he was throughout the movie was the person who was always trying to figure out the little way or big way that he could help out the team and be there for the team. And he was kind of overlooked in certain aspects. Like they kind of ignore him. There's bigger things going on in the moment. So I think they could have leaned into that a little more. And maybe that's, a theme that will happen with his relationship with the family is that Reed will always view him as Sue's little brother and stuff like that. And eventually they'll have Reed's moment of appreciating Johnny for what he contributes. That could have been leaned into a little bit more because he really was just kind of like doing things behind the scenes to help out, and it ended up being big. And there's never a moment where Reed was just like, Johnny, you that's thanks for helping out in this area. This was kind of huge for us. Like even with the Shia LaBeouf, when he translated and talked to her and came back to the Baxter building, like all we got was I think all we got was Ben just saying like, wow, that was great, Johnny. And then they just kind of like move on into the next thing.
Yeah, then he's like, thanks, I don't know if it did anything. And then Sue's like, you saved Franklin. Yeah, you saved Franklin, so that counts for a lot or whatever.
So I just think like I do like what they did, but they could have actually tied that better into his relationship like with Reed or Sue and had that more of a common theme of like he's a bit of the underdog who's doing things behind the scenes to help the family out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think what he did and what it amounted to, I thought was fantastic. I get chills throughout both times I watched it. Chills throughout the entire scene. Like, I no shade to the Escape podcast, but I think Hat Guy said that like he didn't feel that it was earned what Shia LaBeouf did in the third act, and I was like, I mean, I feel like after what Johnny did in that whole, I think it was absolutely earned. Like we saw already earlier in the second act, like her. I failed to think of the word, but her just withstanding, like she doesn't really want to do what she's doing when she goes back to Galactus, but it's just a baby. Like, why do you want me to do this? And then he threatens her and hurts her and makes her do it. So there's already some apprehension. That's the word, apprehension there that she doesn't want to do these things. And then when Johnny highlights all of the pain she's already caused, like I feel like I can buy the twist after that part. Like it's not.
I'm conflicted on how I feel about it. And that's what I was saying earlier about like how I have some problems with her character as well. Because I agree with everything you're saying. That's teased enough in the beginning to where it feels warranted towards the end. Again, it's still like the Galactus problem where like I kind of wish you would have tied that in a little bit more with Johnny specifically and her with Johnny specifically. And I credit Brandon for this. After the movie, we were talking about how I forget what he referenced, but like the Silver Surfer, sees his wife in Sue, and that's a part of why he feels obligated to turn and help them because he sees he sees her in what he used to see in his wife, and he knows he can't get that anymore. So why not tie that in with her and Johnny? Why not give a
Like she
little bit
sees
more
Norrin
of
Rad and
that?
Johnny.
Exactly. And they even show a little flashback, but they don't build on that. And so that's why I agree with
Dude.
what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying, Charlie, where bottom line is like I can still buy into the twist. It's still a good moment, and it was still an awesome scene, and how she just like kind of kicks him out. Still great. Could have done more. And that's ultimately like my opinion of the whole movie. It's like it's still great, could have done more. And I think that's another area where it could have just spent a little bit more time applying that to Johnny, or applying that to the Fantastic Four, instead of just being like, hey, yo, I already hate this dude. Y'all just gave me a reason to hate him even more. I'm gonna go ahead and take him out for y'all. Like, tie that in a little bit with our main characters. So I'm conflicted on how I feel about that, because I agree with you, but I also stand by that sentiment.
No, so for me, the thing that they did tie into well was building on the fact that all of these transmissions that Reed and the family has received comes from her planet, and that they've received, transmissions from the other planets as well that she has visited. And the whole idea behind she sacrificed herself to save her own planet. So the reason why I think it works for me and the way that they tied it in is like her realizing, obviously it's terrible that all of these worlds have been destroyed, but having that feeling of like, I have to serve Galactus in order to keep my planet safe is how she feels, which is why she does what she does. But getting to a point where it's like, okay, Galactus wants to kidnap this kid and, wants him to be his successor. And then the other thing about it is that when Johnny brings it up to her of just like, her realizing the weight of everything that she has played a part in, and basically saying, we're going to take down Galactus and you can help us. And so for her, sacrifice, like, we don't know if she's officially dead, but sacrificing herself to defeat Galactus. So her dying and taking Galactus down with her, taking him down, whatever. He's somewhere out there in the universe. Doesn't matter in this instance. But for her, that is way more worth it than being a part of more and more destruction. That has weighed on her so much. And she came to a point of realization at an opportunity to stop that from continuing to happen. So the sacrifice that she made for her planet, I mean, she basically, in a way, her old self died. She lost her family, she lost her home. So it's a reflection of that, where now, let's say she literally died during this sacrifice, to then stop this from happening to anybody else. That to me works great. I can agree that maybe there could have been a little more that they tied into, but I was given plenty enough to appreciate her character work, and then ultimately the sacrifice that she made at the end.
Yeah, I think it was enough for me as well. I think me
Yeah,
personally.
no,
I would have liked to have seen, like, just as my nerdy side, I would have liked in the flashback to maybe see Norrin Rad, but other than that, like, I don't really.
Yeah, I don't disagree that it didn't. I'm not saying it didn't work for me. I'm just saying, again, it's just my sentiment with everything in this movie. It could have been more, and I just I'm fine to buy in, and I'm fine to say that, yeah, in the moment it was nice and it flows as a good movie, because I do think it's a good movie. Could have been great, and that was one of the parts where I was just like, I feel like it wasn't. I feel like that, and what I had said about the Galactus stuff, where he's just like, oh, Franklin can free me from this if I just get my hands on him. Cool. We know Galactus is doomed to this life, and he wants somebody to finally help put him to rest. Does it work for what they're trying to say in the movie? Not really for me. It just makes him look like a force. It just makes him look like a being. And
Also,
I don't know.
they don't say this in the movie, and I don't know too much about Galactus from the comics and everything, but even then, I think that you should spell this out in the movie. I guess you can assume that he needs to go to a planet with life on it, but just they don't say why she can't just choose, like, he rides right past Jupiter and right through our entire solar, past Mars, and does not touch them, does not eat them. So, like, I'm sure it has to be a planet with life on it, but they just don't say that. They don't tell you that, and that's just like a little bit of like a, well, why not? Maybe that's more of a cinema scenes thing, but whatever.
It is.
As for third act stuff that I didn't like, the the whole city being underground and subterranean, I think that's a cool thing. Like it's like the Superman evacuating everybody. I don't care about that aspect of it. It's just that as soon as Galactus lands, they keep cutting back to subterranean like three different times of like, oh, the streets are gonna cave in, maybe it's gonna fall down on them, and then Galactus is up there for another like 20 minutes, and we just don't cut back to that at all ever again. So like, okay, there's nothing to worry about. They didn't do anything to stop that from happening. It just doesn't happen anymore. It just was never a worry. So and I hate to compare it to Superman, which also I do want to touch. Like other people have said this, I'm not the first to say this, but it's crazy to me that this is the first time that a DC movie has come out and I liked it more than a Marvel movie that year. That's crazy. Yeah. But to continue, Superman, like the way they do it, and the city's evacuated, whatever your feelings are about that, the city's evacuated, and so nobody's in danger. But then as the split keeps happening, it's coming towards another city with people actually in it, but then they stop it right before it gets to that city. So like there's like the worry and what they have to do to stop it, and they actually stop it. Versus here, it's just there's worry. Oh my gosh, is this going to happen? And then a whole nother 20 minutes of fight and Galactus stomping around and just nothing. The streets are fine. Everybody down there is fine.
Well, here's the other thing. Ben runs and takes down all these pillars on a building that Galactus is holding. The pillars aren't the only thing holding up the building, so I'm like, all right, well, like, what did he just?
Yeah, it had like that middle section. It was like a middle section.
Yeah,
but I mean, I could buy a building falling over from that.
Let's get him to do something. We gotta get him to do something.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
I thought you were critiquing that the pillars being crushed actually caused the building to fall. It's like, dude, Galactus has weight on it, and he takes out the side that Galactus is weighing on. So like between those two things, it's like I don't know. I think that's a cinema sins right there.
The second thing I have is at the end of the day, this just comes down to a punch harder moment. Like it's literally just Sue has to push harder. She's got to push harder to get this done. And it's cool. It's sick. I love that Sue is like the most powerful of the four. I love that. And it's cool to see. But I do not love stories where it's just like I just got to punch harder and I'll win. Like even Superman, the most powerful dude, and again, I keep comparing it to Superman, but Superman, the most powerful superhero out there that we know of, pretty much he doesn't beat Lex by just punching harder. Like he actually outsmarts him with crypto and eating the drones and everything like that, and then he can actually fight and win against Ultraman. Spoilers for Superman, I guess, if you guys are watching this and haven't seen that.
It was very lazy. I'd agree. To me, it felt very cheap.
But
not lazy isn't like cheap.
And I get it for the whole experience of like, it's still like a somewhat chilling moment because like that's her kid and she's like motherly instinct, mother's love, like she's doing what she can to save her child. For that aspect of it, sure, great. But when you break it down, it's literally just punching harder. It's pushing harder. That's all it is. Ew. And then my last thing, and feel free if you want to say something about that, Ben. You can say it.
I'll say about that specifically is the reason why that worked for me is Sue had to push herself to the point of literally killing herself in order to make that happen. So regardless of if you think that's a cheap emotional moment that, you know, we knew that she was going to be brought back by Franklin, for those like for Reed in that moment, he doesn't know that, like, this is them experiencing Franklin for the first time. We as an audience, sure, we might know, yeah, she's probably going to be brought back in that moment, but that is a real, regardless of her being brought back, she died for him. That is still a fact.
Sure.
No matter no matter how you spin it, that is a fact.
But I'm just for when I talk about it, I'm just talking about how they beat Galactus. I feel like when you have a character in the floor who is the smartest person on the planet, and the way they beat him is just punch harder. Like that's just not cool. I just don't think that's cool.
It's cheap. I stand by the fact that I think they should have lost. I think that would have made me care so much more in the third act. But the fact that they win, and like what Charlie's saying, the fact they win with a punch harder motherly love moment, and then Franklin brings her back to life, and it's like, oh, everything's good, and CGI holding CGI. It's just like, damn it, man! Like this is not what I wanted. This is not what I wanted out of out of this movie. Like yeah, I don't know. I think they should have 1,000% lost.
But then as for the death, like you were talking about, Ben, it's only cheap to me because I didn't buy for a second that she was dead. Like sure, Pedro gave a great performance, and even on my second watch, I caught what I didn't catch the first time when Ben puts his hand on the back of Reed. I absolutely love in a performance from an actor, whether it's voice acting or actual like facial acting, just when their voice, if they can make it crack, like they're actually like crying and struggling to say what they're saying, I eat that shit up, man. I love that shit. And that's exactly what Ben does to Reed when he tells him to like puts his hand on him to like have him stop doing not contractions, but whatever. CPR, thank you.
Contractions.
There's a technical name for it, but it doesn't matter. And he says, "I'm sorry," and like his voice cracks and everything. Dude, it's so good. It's so quiet and so faint. Also, Joseph Quinn's acting. He looks like he's constipated and trying to take a shit, bro. That moment is gonna get memed to. I promise you. I promise you right now. As soon as that movie's released in HD, that is going to be a new meme picture, bro. It is bad. It is not good. It is like how that's your reaction to your sister dying. Like you just like his eyes look like they're gonna burst out of his head. It was crazy, dude.
Yeah,
it was crazy. But as for Franklin, like I get why they did it. They needed to. Like, they spend the whole movie talking about how powerful Franklin is. Galactus says it, and Reed and Sue are worried about it, and so they have to show us how powerful he is. Sure, I do think it could have been done in a different way that didn't have this cheap emotional moment where I don't buy for a second that she's actually dead. But I get why they did it, and he brings her back to life, and that's just a glimpse of how powerful he really is.
God, I struggle, man. I struggle with that third act. There's just a lot that I don't like in there.
It's worse. I mean, it's worse than the second act. I'll give you that all the time, all day, no matter what.
But there's a lot of cheap stuff in there that I just cannot see past me personally. I mean, we talked about it.
I just want to say, so on my second watch, here's kind of how I viewed it slightly differently. The things that I didn't like the first time around remained the same. They remained constant. They should have increased the stakes. We should have gotten more time with certain characters. Ben was underutilized. Those things, absolutely true. But the things that I liked the first time, I liked even more. Like it solidified it in my brain, those things that I enjoyed, whether that's the action, whether that is what interactions we did get with the family, whether that's Reed, Sue, Franklin, all of those things were elevated and more solidified in my brain the second time. And the problems seem a lot smaller for me. Like my issues seem a lot smaller than they did the first time around. Because I kind of, I was expecting it. I was used to it. But the things I like, even more prevalent in my brain. So I don't know if Charlie, if you had any experience like that the second time around, but I heard people talk about Superman that way, which is like the bad things are bad, but the good things you like even more and you appreciate even more. So the bad things seem like smaller issues once you're kind of used to them and expecting them.
I don't know, because a lot of my issues. Well, okay. With my first watch, I'll say that like I at least teared up like at Pedro's performance with the Vanessa thing. Like Pedro's performance is the only reason I teared up. Second time around, I didn't do that at all. Like it's just I didn't feel that, and it was so the moment that I didn't like, I guess I probably liked it even less on my second time around. And also my issues with it are more like with character wise and just not including like Ben not getting anything to do in this movie is so egregious to me. And I if anything, like I was on the prowl for any Ben stuff, and the fact that I got none on this second watch, like it made me even slightly more angry. And still an 8 out of 10. I gave it an 8 out of 10 after I went out of the first time. It's still staying in an 8 out of 10 for me. Yeah. But it's just like, I don't know. And for Superman 2, I would say, I think I told you this, Ben. I don't know if Aiden was here right before we recorded last week, but after my second watch of Superman, I liked it a little bit less because of the stuff that I didn't like in it the first time around. So,
yeah. Michael Giacchino's score,
Great
probably
stuff.
a top 5 MCU score. One of the best in recent years, I would
People
say.
complain about scores not being memorable. I think this one will 1000% be memorable. It's really, really, really good.
Really
I said this earlier, but I guess I want your guys' thoughts on it. The space sequence, the best sequence in a comic book movie ever, maybe?
Yeah.
Are we
10 out
willing
of
to say
10.
that?
I'm
Top
right
5
there
at
with you.
least?
Are you
I'm
saying
right there with
just
you. It is the
the
best.
supernova
The best?
sequence or
Okay.
the whole
Yeah.
sequence of them visiting Galactus and everything that follows?
The escape. I would
I'd say the escape.
Like
As soon
after
when she goes into
Galactus.
labor. When she goes into labor, and then from that point.
See
That
okay,
point on, it is one of the coolest things I have ever witnessed in a comic book movie. So
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. Yeah, I think it's
I think it
phenomenal.
was
10
fire.
out of 10.
So
Big
good.
big saving grace of the movie for me.
I agree with that, but I will say I am a sucker for scale and things just being absolutely huge. I've
The
said that
airport scene, is that what you're gonna say?
no.
Oh.
Not what no. So for me, Galactus as a villain, one of the things that appeals to me is just him being a massive dude. Like
Sure.
I eat that up all day.
Mhm.
And so like when they can convey scale, that tickles my fancy. To put
And
it
honestly,
to put it mildly.
Another thing also that because Galactus can change his size, he can go bigger, he can go smaller, at his own will. I wish they played with that a little bit. Make him so like his head is the size of the Earth, like at one point.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if we're gonna make the movie longer. Play with that a little bit. Play with the third act action sequence. Another problem I have with the movie actually, it's the second act and the third act action scenes. That's it. There's literally like they're not Fantastic Fouring at any other time. There's the space sequence and then there's the Galactus fight. That's all we get. Like
That didn't upset me at all.
I just think that, and it's not a serious doc on the movie for me because I enjoy character moments. I enjoy dialogue. I enjoy like the fight with Reed and Sue. I thought that was great stuff.
Let's not start this again.
I mean,
like obviously,
yeah,
it's a superhero movie. I love superhero stuff. Like I'm
Yeah.
here to see action as well. You know, so just a little bit of a thing.
it's I mean that's the thing though. It's like you say I love character moments. I love this. It's like cool. They have 2 action sequences. What's in the middle? Still left to be desired.
Well,
from me.
hold
Like,
on. Sue talked to the world and dude, that conversation between Reed and Sue is so good. Like when Sue says, "Well, sometimes you being you hurts me." Golly,
phenomenal.
golly, man, great stuff.
More left to be desired.
The thing that I was so I said I loved scale with Galactus. So there's a shot where they are walking back down the stairs and you see Galactus's hand reaching for them. I love that stuff.
True.
More of that all the time. I am in love with scale like that. And just being able to like that is so threatening and menacing. Love it. So that's it. Like I like every part of that sequence, like seeing the planet get destroyed, getting brought in by Galactus, seeing Galactus for the first time. I was a fan of all of that. Even the moment where like him saying that he wants Franklin, dude, they shouldn't have revealed that in the trailers. That
I agree.
That would have been way
that
better.
Was something that Scoopers talked about a
time.
long time ago, I remember, but I was able to just brush that off as like that could be a real thing, could not be a real thing. So, but yeah, when they talked about it in the trailer, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. The thing about like bringing up the action, it's weird to me because usually like if you watch a movie multiple times and it's lacking on the action, it will feel more lacking the more you watch it. And I don't like a second rewatch. I did not feel like I got a like I can understand where that's coming from, but the movie gave me enough at every point in it where I wasn't just like wishing that there were more action scenes. I was satisfied both times.
I think the chase really adds a lot to that because like those moments that you aren't getting the action sequence, the action scenes, like they're breaking down what Shia LaBeouf is saying and they're trying to figure out, okay, well, and I think a lot of that and showing all of their minds at work of being like, okay, who is this person? Who is Galactus? Like, what's going on? And that big chase of trying to figure out why Shia LaBeouf has arrived at Earth. I think a lot of that really helps soften the blow from not a lot of action. And I think they do that perfectly. Like I think that is I think that's done very well. And I think that's maybe, I don't know, I might be wrong, Ben, but I think that's maybe why it doesn't really affect your viewing of there not being a lot of action in there, because like that chase makes up for a lot of that suspension that you would be feeling.
Well, it's that, and that I liked the other parts of the movie more than you did.
I
Well,
also,
I mean, what can I say? You're just not a big character guy. You're a hype moments and aura guy. So.
But it's not. But
yeah,
that's
we
the
established that 2 weeks ago, buddy.
That's the thing. If we're saying that there is not action scenes, and that I'm saying I appreciate the other character and family moments more than you do, you can't say that's hype moments and aura. You literally can't use that excuse. It's that I enjoyed the family aspect and the characters more than you.
Yeah, a 1,000% you did, because I mean, there's just one shit there for me. I'm not gonna lie.
I will say, in regards to Ben, something I did like the thing Ben, not this Ben. don't get a full ego, buddy. There's the his focus on his faith, even though like it was such to a small degree. Like when I compare it to something like even Daredevil Born Again, I think where it's faith, his faith in the Catholic Church, like that was hardly a focus in this season of Daredevil Born Again. But I feel like even the things, it was less so. Like it's just like little flashes of the school and the children there, and it has like the Star of David on it. And then Ben, right before the third act begins, he goes into the church and talks to Rachel a little bit. But I did appreciate that aspect of it. But still, like, could have done more. Very well, could have just made this longer and put.
That stuff, the scenes he shared with her, really, like, I don't know how much of this is true, but that really felt like a lot was cut from his stuff that should have been in there. And like that, we gotta keep, like, we're keeping these two things in there to show some of that through line.
We're never gonna find out, because there was never any dialogue in the trailer of the scene between him and Sue sitting on the couch together. Man, I bet that scene would have hit, bro. And I bet that scene would have hit so hard, and we're never going to see it, because Matt Chapman today even said there's never going to be a director's cut. So we're never going to see that. Maybe it'll be a deleted scene. Maybe, hopefully, with no CGI, no special effects. Speaking of which, I'm not someone who blames, who docks points of a movie for special effects unless they're horrendous. But there were a lot of noticeable scenes in this, especially the second watch. Dude, tell me why the scene when they come back after the space sequence and then Reed is holding a press conference, it's a green screen behind his head. Like, it was clearly like they forgot to have, like, maybe the audio just wasn't working on the day, and so they had to have him go into a booth with a blue screen or whatever behind him and have him do it, and it just doesn't look good. But also, I do want to say, because this is something we talked about last year when Superman finished filming at this time and they just started filming at this time. Something we talked about, or at least something I remember I said, was that, dude, the special effects on this are going to be horrible compared to Superman. And largely, I'd say they're better. I'd say they're better than Superman. And like,
really?
Because I think of the pocket dimension stuff in Superman, other than like the atmosphere, dude, the whatever radioactive river, whatever the hell they call it, that was terrible looking. That did not look good. While they were swimming in that, no, didn't look good. Didn't look good at all.
What does a photon river look like? You show me a photon river.
It doesn't matter what if I have a real life thing to compare it to. It just doesn't look good. What do you mean? Baby Joey's not a real thing either. But Baby Joey didn't look great. Like, what the hell are you talking about?
I agree with that. And Franklin looked rough at times too. Like, what do we?
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. I think some even some of the stuff with the Thing, I'd say Superman was better than this.
The Thing was
CGI.
There's one scene with the Thing when he first talks to Rachel on Yancey Street, the green screen, not the Thing himself, but the green screen behind him, or the I guess fake screen, looked really bad.
Well, him holding Franklin, that's Franklin's fault. The Thing, I think, was perfect throughout the whole movie.
I think there was a lot better.
Other things around him might have been bad at times, but he was great.
Yeah, I like the Thing for the entire.
Yeah, I can't excuse the CGI baby. It's bad. I mean, there's a lot of moments in the third act where I'm just like I see Ben holding him and going to set him down, and then obviously Sue's dead, and I'm just like, it kind of took me out. I was just like, oh man, like because I was like, okay, I know that they're gonna set Franklin on her and she's gonna come back alive, and I was just like, this just isn't working for me. I'm not gonna lie, it's just
You know what's weird to me? Where I think they did a CGI baby really, really well, even though it was still noticeable that it was a CGI baby. Squid Game season 3, that baby was CGI the entire time. I don't know if you noticed, Ben. That was a CGI baby
noticed.
every shot, but it looked pretty good. Like it was the best CGI baby I think I've ever seen.
They covered it pretty well.
Yeah,
with how they did that wrapped up and not showing the face super often, but
sure.
Yeah, they were much more intentional. They showed a lot and kind of went for it. So
yeah,
it's hard to. I would say at this point, it's impossible to do super well what they were trying to go for.
Wait, sorry, but Ben, do you think that the space sequence is the best sequence in a comic book movie, or do you have something over it? Because Aiden agreed with me. I didn't hear what you. Because I thought you were going to say like the airport sequence from Civil War. I thought you liked that a lot.
No. All I was bringing up was putting in context that because I asked you guys if you liked the whole middle act, including the Galactus stuff, and I was just bringing up the scale of Galactus and how that tickles my fancy. But specifically the space sequence, it
tickles really my fancy.
I got to keep it a little more mild for the podcast. We're putting this out to the public. I don't know if I can say yes to that personally. Okay. Maybe a sequence as a whole, I might give that to you. But like there are probably more moments in comic book movies that I like more individual singular moments that I like better. But a sequence as a whole, I'm not mad at that take.
Okay.
I'd have to give more thought to it.
I think for me, like, I don't think there's anything in Endgame or Infinity War that like looks as good as what that scene, the Batman chase scene. It might be close second. That one's the only one that like comes to mind that I'm like thinking about. But yeah, I'd still give it to probably Fantastic Four right now.
That's true.
Yeah. Can we talk post-credit scene?
Yes, that's where I wanted to go.
Yep. I'll keep it brief. Didn't do as much as I thought it would do, given the post-credit scene of Thunderbolts, but I think it's easy to reason that whatever is transpiring in this post-credit scene with Doctor Doom is what causes the Fantastic Four to jump universes. And that basically the Thunderbolts post-credit scene is kind of the beginning of Doomsday, essentially. These characters and them meeting the Fantastic Four is basically at the start of the movie somewhere. Other thing, I don't love Doom's mask. It's too basic for me.
I don't think that'll be the final one, but
I hope not. But that, like, especially on the second watch, I was like, this looks like a Peacemaker, like a Peacemaker early on mask or something like that.
Okay, all right.
Like, it's just perfectly round, super shiny. Just not much going on, but didn't do as much as I thought it would do, and also didn't really excite me in any way. I didn't expect to see Doom, though. I'm not gonna lie. I will put the hand up and say I didn't expect to see Doom. So
I expected to see RDJ. Truthfully,
I expected to see him standing there, and they still did not have the cojones to do that. They just had Doom there, and I was just like,
I think they're trying so hard. They want to save it for the movie. They want to save it for Doomsday. They think it's going to be there's going to be a really big moment in Doomsday where it's like, it's RDJ.
I don't know. It didn't really do much for me. I think the questions that it brings up, post movie talk after, we got out of the theater were more interesting than what it actually was. I had always said, man, like, even after leaving Thunderbolts and seeing that post-credit scene after the early screening, I was like, dude, like, can you just imagine, like, after Fantastic Four, like, what's the Fantastic Four's post-credit scene going to be like? Oh my God, if we see Doom. And then it happened in the theater, and I was just like, okay, like, I just don't know, man. Like, this hurt.
What were the three words you saw, Aiden?
Doom is here.
Doom is here. Okay.
Yeah. So here, I'll push back on this, Aiden, because if the start of Avengers Doomsday is establishing the Fantastic Four and their reasoning for coming to Earth 616, if that's actually, what our universe is, if that's establishing that reason, then what else could the Fantastic Four post-credit scene had done without taking even more away from the beginning of Avengers Doomsday? Like, sure, they could have shown Doom.
Oh, no,
They
no, no.
absolutely could have done that. But I don't think
Yeah,
they could
yeah.
have given any more context for why the Fantastic Four leaves Earth without basically giving us the first probably 5 minutes of what Avengers Doomsday is actually going to be.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, I don't think there was much more that they could have done. I just personally, for me, I just I thought I'd be more excited and more hyped. I just didn't feel anything from it. Like, I don't think there's much more that they could have done. I think even if they would have showed like Doom in his full costume, like, and he would have said something to Sue, like, I think I still would have just been like, okay, cool. Like, now it's on to Doomsday. I don't know why that is. I don't know. I've just struggled to really care a whole lot.
I was pretty excited, but I wasn't like jump up and down in my chair kind of excited, but I got a smile on my face and I had like a slight, like one chill ran through my body. But
I mean, one of the coolest things that I think can come out of this is, which Brandon had mentioned this, obviously now we know that Doom is coming from this universe. Like that's one of the coolest things is that like Doom is, I mean, Doom is in this universe. He is literally in this universe and the post-credit scene.
He is in this
and they
universe.
They show
it was alluded
Latveria
to.
multiple
I get all
times.
Of that. I'm just saying that does not mean that the Doom we will see is from this universe. He probably.
What other Doom would we see? What would we see? Are you saying like it's from 828, like this Doom right here?
I'm saying we don't know that 100%. He's in this universe. Yeah, I get that, but I don't think it has been clearly or implicitly stated that he is originated from Earth 828. I don't think that we can just sit here and say that for sure.
I mean, there definitely
He's here now.
is somebody there if Latveria is shown more than once.
But who's to say if Doom is a multiverse traveling being, who is to say that he didn't come from another multiverse and then is from Latveria still in this universe? Like
I just don't know why they wouldn't have. I don't know why if that's the case that they would have shown Latveria twice throughout the movie.
There is a noise that Sue hears before the camera pans over to looking at Doom. So maybe that noise was like him teleporting in from another dimension, but I don't know.
I don't know.
He's here, but it's like we can't rule it out because the Fantastic Four are going to go to 616, and Doom is going to, where's the battle between the Avengers and Doom going to take place? Probably not in this universe. Maybe in 616, maybe somewhere else. I just don't think we can say like, oh, our Doctor Doom played by Robert Downey Jr. is from 828. I don't think we can say that yet. If he is, fine. I'm just, I just think he's more powerful than we can't just confidently say that.
Yeah. I don't know. I still think it's cool that, that this RDJ Doom first appearance is in Fantastic Four's universe is what I'm trying to say. It's not just him coming down to our Earth and being like, hey, look, it's Tony Stark as Doom. I think it's cool that it's here. I think there's a lot of cool directions you could take it after that, such as maybe this is this universe's Iron Man, or like, maybe this is this universe's Doom, and like we still have like the real Doom out there somewhere. I don't know. I think there's a lot of cool directions you could take it based on Charlie got a visitor. Based on they closed the door behind him and everything. That's crazy. I just think it's cool that our first look at Doom is in this universe, which is cool. With the whole RDJ as Doom stuff is something to chew on, regardless. I don't know. I still maybe stand by. Not that I totally believe that this will happen, but I still maybe stand by. What if we end up seeing an actual Doom later on? I don't know.
What do you mean an actual Doom?
That this isn't our final Secret Wars Doctor Doom. Like that there will be there will be a
multiple Dooms,
a bigger, stronger Doom. Because I had said that I feel like they just kind of put Doom in the place of Kang. I said this a long time ago, and y'all just kind of like laughed it off. But I do think that the plan they had for Kang was to introduce a Kang Dynasty Kang, and then give us the real big bad Secret Wars Kang, which is why this one was so easily defeated in Quantumania.
Aiden, brother.
This guy
This
here,
this
let Ben cook everybody.
This goes against everything you were talking about earlier with Galactus. This is people's critique with Thanos and Endgame. If you just bring in a variant of Kang who's a big bad to fight in Secret Wars after you have the Kang in Loki season 2, the Kang in Quantumania, you just then introduce a variant who's a bigger, stronger Kang, then you don't establish enough of the motive. It's the same reason why people say 2014 Thanos, he doesn't have the same emotional connection to the Avengers as the Thanos that defeated them in Infinity War. You can't have it both ways.
I think there's a way we could get God Emperor Doom, white suit Doctor Doom for Secret Wars, and it's not RDJ's Doom. How they do that, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and like tell you exactly how I could get rid of the problem you're bringing up by doing that, but I'm saying that I stand by a fact that maybe this isn't our Secret Wars Doctor Doom.
And I'm not against that.
Whether it's RDJ's Doom getting defeated and coming back stronger for Secret Wars, whether that's a different Doom that's played by a different actor, whatever it is, I stand by the fact that I think for Secret Wars we are getting God Emperor White Cloak Doom and not this Doctor Doom that we just saw right now.
And I'm not
I
saying
don't know how you make that work.
That. All I'm saying is if this Doom that we see in this post-credit scene ends up being the Doom that we have in Avengers Doomsday, and it's RDJ, and then we pull an Endgame where he's defeated and then he comes back as a different variant, we're going to have the same problem that you have with Galactus or that people have with Thanos, which is this is not the same Doom. Like, yeah, it's still Doom. It could even still be RDJ, but he does not have the same emotional connection to this storyline for what they built up to that point. I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm just saying that I would be concerned at him just basically being a bigger, stronger, mustache twirling villain variant of a character that we got to know.
I think there's a way that they could make it pertain to the story, if that's still what they were trying to do. I mean, we see the white cloak in the leaks, but I'm not going to pull off of that. I'm just pulling off of like the Secret Wars run where it was God Emperor Doom. I definitely think there's a way that they're going to try and get a white cloak Doctor Doom. They're going to get God Emperor Doom for Secret Wars. I don't know how. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but I think there's a way for sure that we get this green RDJ Doom in Doomsday, and then we get God Emperor for Secret Wars. However they do it, I don't know, but I still stand by that. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I think there's a way you could do that while still having them pertain to the story. It's going to be a lot of hand wavy stuff, but I still think there's a way you could do it that you don't get that Thanos 2014 issue.
Yeah. And like, I agree. I think you can. It's just like, I don't know, the issues of saying like Galactus is just a big mustache twirling villain. If we just get a new Doom that we haven't seen who just wants to destroy everything and doesn't have the same motive of the Doom that we're getting introduced to now, I just think you could run into the same problems. But not saying they can't, just, something to look out for.
I think Galactus is a big mustache twirly villain because that's what they reduced him to in the movie. I don't think he is. Obviously, I know he's not because he wants to rest and not have to keep feeding on planets. In the movie, though, they don't do enough to make that the case. He's very much just reduced down to that for the.
But wouldn't a new Doom who hasn't interacted with the Avengers be the same thing? Where
I'm not denying that. I was covering my case for mustache twirly Galactus. I think that's that's not a character detriment. That's a movie detriment.
And I'm fine with that. I'm just like, I understand your critique of that. I'm just saying, like, if they do what you're suggesting with Doom, it can be easy for them to walk into that same trap.
1,000%, yeah. Which is why I think that they'll probably do something different so that they don't run into the Thanos 2014 issue again. What that is, I don't know, but I stand by the fact that I think there will be a God Emperor Doom in Secret Wars. Don't ask me how they're gonna do it or what they're gonna do with it, but I think it will happen somehow, some way. You gotta sell toys.
It's true. Any other Fantastic Four thoughts, gentlemen?
Real quick joke I really loved from Mole Man to Johnny right before when they're asking. He's like, "Don't be mad at me, Johnny. I didn't dress you this morning." I thought that was so good. And then also another, I guess, discussion about the stakes in the movie and how I felt them was how they were going to teleport the planet away, and then as the countdown's happening, and then Shalabal comes in and starts blowing him up. Dude, my heart, the first watch, sank. I was like, oh no, man. Like, this might actually happen. They might actually lose. So at that point, I was like,
I
this is great, bro.
I think it would have been so much better if they did lose after that. I
See?
still stand by.
And
I would have liked.
Okay,
I would have liked it a lot more if
does,
they did.
What does lose mean? Does lose mean they ditch
That-
the planet and let it get eaten by Galactus?
Yep. Or something
They
to where
wouldn't
they
do
lose
that.
that fight.
They
I'm not, but
established
something, man.
Their community is their like the unity that they have with all the people they protect.
I know.
To up and leave? No.
Okay, you're hanging too high on that. My bottom line is they should have lost. However that happens, cool. You're hanging too much up on them dipping. Whatever it is, they should.
I'm hanging up on
I agree.
How practically did they lose? Does their planet get destroyed? Do they leave? Like what?
I don't know, but I think they should have lost. Whether that's they're the only ones that are able to get out of there and they have to save Franklin and teleport to another universe, just them four. Whatever that case may be, I think it's better than what we got, which is
honestly
Sue's motherly love push and the world is saved. Like I think them losing should have happened.
I mean, I could see like Reed like making like a gigantic ship that could hold like different people.
Well, see,
the entire world.
Putting them in cryo sleep or teleporting each individual person, finding another planet, and then going to that planet with light speed, and then building portals, teleportation portals over there, and teleporting every person. Like I could see him doing some sort of all these sort of different things. But sure.
What I thought was going to happen was that they were going to succeed in teleporting their Earth, and that was going to be like the start of the incursion. Them kind of messing up and being put into our universe or whatever, our atmosphere, and him teleporting Earth all the way over there or too close enough to our Earth would start the incursion. But I think that's probably Monica's. I think they already established that that's Monica's world. So disregard that. But for a second there, I thought maybe that'd be a cool way to get it going. But yeah, I stand by. I think they should have lost. I think the movie kind of falls into the big trope of this villain is undefeatable. There's no way we're gonna stop him. We found a way to stop him, and like now the day's saved. Oh yes, everything's good. The end. And it's just like, come on, like.
Well, I like the way that they found to stop him by teleporting him away. I think that's a cool like ingenuity, like using your brains to do it. But back then, I go back to like the
exactly that's
harder
where
thing.
That's where I hang up on. That's a cool way to do it. The way they went about it felt very cheap, and
yeah,
I think them losing.
I feel like they could have done like some kind of like some more trickery thing, or Reed could have thought of something to like,
or have Ben pertain to the story. Yeah, I don't know.
Ben pertaining to the story would have been really easy, which is Galactus pulls up sooner than they're expecting, and they're working on evacuation. But where he grew up, like that whole area of town hasn't gotten evacuated yet, and so like there's still people up there. Tie it back in, make those stakes with the kids. Risk the kids are at risk now because Galactus is stomping around, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, dude, that shot isn't even it. Where like his foot is coming down and that girl's looking up with her the Thing action figure in the trailer. That shot nowhere near the movie because they're all evacuated. Like that's not even in there. It's just like I want to see the movie that was put together, like was cut around and put together with this trailer.
Is that shot of Galactus's foot coming down? I thought that was in the movie when it's the 7-Up sphere falling down and Sue catches it. I thought that was in the movie. I didn't think that was a Galactus moment.
Oh, You might be
I-
right. You might be right.
I think so, because otherwise them
focus
shooting.
I
is
watched
ruined
this
this
once
movie,
2
bro.
days ago.
Otherwise, them shooting a scene with a girl getting almost stomped on by Galactus. It's like there was never a world where there was any people up there. Clear as day that was never a part of the plan.
Still, there obviously was a lot left on the cutting room floor, and I think that
Test
severely hurt the
audiences
movie
took it
for
all
me.
away from us, man. Crazy.
And now we're left with this. You know, it's fine.
It's a great movie.
Hey, I'm glad you had a great
let's
year,
work for
Benjamin, with comic book movies other than Captain America. But you had a great year, man.
Dude,
I'm happy for you.
I was thinking about this. This is probably the best year for comic book movies since 2021.
Yeah, I still agree too, because I love this movie. Just could
Between
have been better.
Superman and Thunderbolts. Like I go back to 2021 where we got Shang-Chi, The Suicide Squad, and No Way Home. Like that's the last good year that we
Whoa,
had.
don't forget Eternals, buddy.
Anyways, and like obviously 2022 had the Batman, but then the Marvel films were what? Doctor Strange and Thor and Black Panther. So it's like not great.
Multiverse of Madness and Wakanda Forever were pretty good.
Yeah, but like this year and 21 definitely clear that. But anyways, but this is the best.
Next year's
year
gonna be
for
better
comic book
though.
Movies is in a while. Next year, what is there? Supergirl,
Spider-Man,
Doomsday.
Clayface, and Doomsday.
Right, Clayface. There's a chance.
Sure.
There's a chance.
I don't think it's
I'm not gonna
likely
lie.
though. I'm excited for Supergirl.
Yeah, I don't.
And Spider-Man, of course.
I don't hate that lineup of movies. Especially, I mean, Spider-Man. It's I think we're riding on the fact that the director of Shang-Chi is coming back.
Sure, but also Kevin Feige said it's going to be a street level movie, so I'm riding on that too.
Excited. We're riding on that, and then if the Russos can lock in, which I feel like Kevin Feige has to know that there's a lot riding on this movie.
Sure.
But it's not helping the fact that they're like filming as
the script is still like literally today. Rebecca Romaine at Comic-Con in an interview said they're still writing the script. So that is awesome.
Like, there's like, what is this, bro? What is this movie? Seriously, can we talk for a second on like what is going on, dude? Like, oh my god, my hope just keeps dwindling day by day.
And they brought Michael Waldron
no
on to write some stuff for it too. So I like Multiverse of Madness though, so I'm kind of in. I mean,
that's fine, but the bottom line is still writing this thing, dude. What are we doing?
Yeah, I agree.
Anyways, that is going to do it for our discussion on the Fantastic Four. I've been telling people it's a Fantastic 4-star movie.
Don't worry, I'ma get it, Granny.
I get that reference. Good song. It's a Fantastic 4 stars out of 5. I really liked it, and good discussion all around. I gotta say, we touched on a lot of topics.
Yeah,
maybe
Ben was hardcore glazing,
dude. We gave it the same rating.
Me and Ben hardcore switched this episode. Like, I don't know what happened, but like we were just on. I don't know. I would expect a lot of Ben out of me and a lot of me out of him any other episode.
Whoa. I don't know.
I would expect a lot of Ben in me, but I had a lot of Ben in me this episode. That's crazy.
I mean, you know what they say, Ben has always been a rock, you know what I mean?
Oh, they didn't say that in the movie though. They didn't say that in the movie though, buddy.
Hey, they say that about me though. They say that about me. Anyways, that's been our discussion on Fantastic Four First Steps. We will be back next week for more discussion. Honestly, I don't even know what we got slated for next week. I haven't really thought. Oh,
the big debate.
Big debate. Oh, okay. Yeah. Big debate coming up next week. We'll have to see how that goes.
The council, if you will.
Yeah. So the council will decide your fate, Charlie. Charlie, you'll catch up eventually. You'll understand when you're older. But more exciting episodes to come. We got
both of these guys, by the way.
It's the clip farm episode. That's what it is. It's the big clip farm.
Yeah, we talked about this. Yeah. But yeah, some big releases coming up. I'm excited to watch this horror movie that comes out next week called Together with James Franco.
I'm excited for that too.
And
Weapons in 2 weeks, I think.
Weapons
yeah.
is the week after that. Nobody 2 is the week after that. So like kind of more indie, not
Funny,
like,
man.
crazy huge summer blockbusters, but still releases I'm very excited for. I actually had never seen a Weapons trailer, and it played today. I was like,
I didn't
I was
get
already
it.
excited.
I was
You
so
haven't
mad.
seen the Weapons trailer ever?
No, I don't
Oh,
know. I don't know what it's been, but like over the last, like, I guess just the last few months, maybe just this year or so, when I see a post that like, oh, a new trailer for so and so has been released, I used to be like, yep, clicking on that right away. I want to see this trailer. And
true.
nowadays, I just see, a trailer released. I'm like, I'll see it in theaters.
See, that's the thing. That's what I'm doing for Spider-Man. I know we talked about this a little bit, but even for Spider-Man though, I'm not even gonna like when it comes on in the theater, I'm going to get up out of my seat and walk away, or I'm just gonna bring AirPods in and then just look at my phone the whole time.
Sure.
Because this is I've never done it with a Marvel movie, but I'm doing it with Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Maybe I'll join you with that. We'll see. I
Yeah,
might
I
join you
I
with
think it'd be
that.
cool because I would do it with Doomsday. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it with Doomsday because like I don't. I need to know what's up with that movie and how it looks because right now I have like no faith in the movie.
Well, yeah, we'll be
So
talking about that a lot of movies.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
Jeez.
Yep. With that being said, thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode. We had a lot of fun. We will see you all next week for some more fun, nerdy conversations. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Sayonara.
Adios.
Peace.